a reason for our paladin to be missing?
I think I don't think he'll be missing. He'll be there for combat. I'll play him. That doesn't take much time when we're at level 1. Should combat arise too frequently. But other than that, I'll just have him be a little more quiet than we're maybe used to being. But
he is already pretty quiet, I have to say.
Or missing a player.
So far it's been very predictable. He was always very righteous.
It was a lot of like looking at us with a judgmental.
Especially at some people.
Don't.
Some of us like to steal stuff, so.
Oh, I see.
He was vigilant.
I'm chaotic neutral,
Vigilant.
so.
Oh god.
It's been a long time since our game, right?
Yeah, it's been
over
a
a
month
month.
or so
Yeah,
at least.
I need to refresh my memory on some of those things.
Also,
Don't worry, I will be over that part
Like
again.
I remember, Anna, we had a connection, but I don't remember what. Did we
We were
travel together?
traveling? Yeah.
Okay.
And if I was trying to steal I wanted to steal the thing, and you were like trying to hold me back.
I'm kind of your
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. That's my memory.
It's nice to have a big TV with
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Oh, we have these pictures.
What pictures?
The thing, the character pictures. Profile.
Yeah, we did have that.
Oh, it's still not replaced here. 1 second. Because he did send me a new picture, so I'll use it.
Oh, I see.
Doesn't matter.
Who's this? Is that you?
What?
I'll make him a little bigger so you can
Doesn't matter.
also see him for a second. For
Last word
Yes.
of the day.
Yeah, I
I
remember.
remember that. And
No, I do have notes on my phone.
Okay.
Nightstone.
Are we all full?
Coran. Wait.
What do you need?
I think I have most of what I need.
Is Nightstone our game?
what?
Nightstone our game?
Nice.
Yes, this is Nightstone. You're in Nightstone. The
Duke
game
of-
is called Adventures in Nightstone.
Duke of Daggerford. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I have notes, but because they just tell me really basic things, like doesn't really tell me much. Like Bosan, this half-elf ranger.
Yeah, okay, I think we can somewhat, unless someone wants to mention anything. That I think we can start.
I still was not sure about level 2 character, but
It's we can or we'll go
It's-
over it in a
I think
second
it's
when
fine.
we hit it anyway because it doesn't take long to level up for most characters,
Yeah.
especially if you don't pick spells. It doesn't take a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may want to glance
So
at
we
the
just-
handbook. Just been a few months since I played it,
Cool.
so.
Can we
Mhm.
remind each other's names?
The names, right?
Yeah, I think it would actually be a great idea for the start for everyone to quickly reintroduce the character, also because we have a guest here. And,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
who would like to start?
Ladies first.
okay.
So I'm Mara, half-elf warlock. So I make my money by stealing things, expensive things like artifacts, books, weapons, and I keep some for myself too. So I will be doing the Pact of the Tome, so I'm interested in knowledge, and that's why I want these interesting artifacts and things. And I think I have some kind of right to them because I'm a warlock. Yeah, so and I think I also have that shoot. So I take risks, and they usually pay out for me. So I do this when I'm sneaking around in these expensive mansions, stealing things, and yeah. So it usually works out.
And you were like a tentacle kind of warlock, right? Old.
Yeah, exactly.
old
The
thing.
alien
Oh,
patron.
okay.
Yeah.
Cthulhu patron.
Yeah.
And on the screen just for an
Oh,
image
yes.
or an idea.
Nice.
Thanks for telling us to look at it. Okay, Lance. Okay.
I'm Milo Tea Leaf. I'm halfling rogue. I have kind of a charlatan background. So I have like a second personality that I can use. I have special fine clothes I can wear, and trying to convince people that I'm very rich and have big influence. but I like to steal. I pocket anything I see, but never from people who can't afford it. That's my fairness. But in my past, I swindled my brother, so I feel a bit guilty for stealing, and I'm also turned out to be that I'm a bit clumsy in the last round because
Perhaps-
I'm pretty young and unexperienced, so I try things that I shouldn't do, or yeah.
You're
That's it.
definitely a little unlucky for a half.
Okay. Hopefully this will change.
This time.
You realize you're a halfling nature.
Yeah, I realize that I have luck.
Wait a second. Oh, did it?
Where did it go?
Yeah, my character is a bit older and he does sound very old as well. I'm trying to example. His name is Herman Mello, and he doesn't know much about his past. He just knows that once he was in the Feywild and he doesn't remember anything about the trip or what happened before. But the last 3 years he worked in a citadel. That's how he looks very accurate. He worked somewhere in the citadel in the libraries, but the whole place burnt down and he got kicked out. And now he's looking for a new employment, and that's why he's here.
Remember the name?
Herman Melville.
And you were a human, right?
Yeah, he's a human. He's very old. He doesn't know himself, but he looks like the oldest person you've ever seen. but he's quite fit for it. Like he can walk and like do things and even jump sometimes.
And you were a wizard?
What class?
He's a wizard. Yes.
Oh, okay, that helps.
Okay. And
That's a warrior.
Oh yeah.
this is Drifting Cloud, a tabaxi, which is a cat-like race, and he's a monk. And he's been basically, as his name would suggest, drifting a lot.
What is the character's name again?
Drifting Cloud.
Oh, okay.
Cloud for short.
Okay.
But he's been wandering the world since as long as he can remember. Always a bit of a vagabond looking for opportunities to make enough coin to get by. But a friendly man, very pragmatic, yeah. And a bit of a sweet talker when he needs to. Calls everyone his friend. And this time I've practiced my role playing, so
I'm Pavel Medved, a hill dwarf ranger specializing for like animal control. So I had a pet bear and a dragon egg that I was guarding with my pet bear, but the royal guard came and busted an animal fight in my village, in which I was trying to win more money, and then my pet bear was confiscated and my dragon egg was stolen. But I was trying to raise it into a dragon because I can speak Draconic.
Cool.
And have you had any chance to read about any of Nightstone in particular, or reasons you might be here?
No, I haven't been able to.
Okay,
No.
so Nightstone is basically a popular escape for rich nobles because it's like a very small and it's close to Waterdeep, which is the biggest and by far biggest city along the coast. So since you're a ranger, I thought that maybe after that job in your village went a little south and gambling didn't go that well for you, you're sort of looking for job opportunities, and rich people always pay well. And a lot of them also come here to supposedly hunt, but then they don't actually go hunting, they just lounge around and pay other people to hunt for them. So what I thought would be that maybe you arrived in Nightstone a couple of weeks ago and have been doing a couple of hunting trips for a couple of the nobles. I think you'd probably know. Who would you probably know? Daphne Featherstone is a rich sort of youngish woman who is serving It's not like basically like a squire to a knight, but something like it, where she's assisting the local lady, Lady Nandar, and you've probably been hunting for some finer pelts for her for the last couple of weeks, and the last time you were in town was probably 3 to 4 days ago. Everything was fine, everything was well in place, and we'll see where you'll be joining them in a couple of minutes. But first, I think we can go back to what you guys went through last session. So at the beginning, you met with a very pompous fellow by the name of Pierron, who boasted. Pierron, who boasted to all of you about how much money you would be making for how little money to accompany this little wagon of his with his art to his fiancée. And while some of you he might have considered his friend, or at least someone he can trust, someone of nobility, falsely, he did seem maybe like he was a little in over his head, but when you came upon the wagon, you also had to sort of make a decision, because a couple of you were rather intent on maybe making a quick buck instead of making some more money by making connections. Luckily, the paladin kept everyone somewhat straight.
Ruining your game.
would have certainly become very interesting very quickly. But he kept everyone on the straight road, so you accompanied the wagon and guarded everything safely to Nightstone for a 2-day trip. But upon coming closer to Nightstone, you quickly realized that something was wrong. The bell was ringing deafeningly, like all of the time. You've been in Nightstone by now for couple of hours, and it hasn't stopped ringing. And when you sort of came upon it from afar, you saw that all of these, I can quickly remind everyone from down below here, we sort of get an idea that from afar it looks like the city has been hit by many different stones and other sizes of stones, because it just looks like many parts of the village are ruined. The water bridge was let down, and when you happened upon the city, it seemed completely void of people, but there were wargs and goblins sort of seemingly having a party with the now empty Nightstone. The other thing that definitely was noticed by everyone is that the actual middle of the square, the famed Nightstone that the little settlement is called after, went missing, while they left some other rocks as a return payment. You took care of the wargs first and used the deafening noise of the bells to sort of get around and murder goblins piece by piece. Not really making any friends along the way. But yeah, it mostly went over very well until you fought a couple of them who had some decent coverage. And our dear drifting cloud almost passed, but managed to stabilize just in time.
Level 1, man. 9 hit points.
Level 1 is cruel, it definitely is. You cleared out a couple more spots, including basically the local shop that had a lot of different equipment that you sort of borrowed for now, since no one was there to give money to. It's not stealing, right? It's just borrowing.
It was stealing.
Maybe a little bit. You came.
Money of the cash.
You know, they might
borrow the money.
Maybe you can pay off some goblins with that. We don't know what was intended. You also checked a couple of other places, and last, but not exactly last, but the last place you checked last session was the inn.
Yeah.
And you sort of noticed that some things were a little weird there. You found a dead goblin with a very weird crossbow bolt in his chest that sort of seemed out of the ordinary, but no one seemed at home at first. You climbed onto the roof while two others went through the building directly, sort of checking for people as you went, which is when you happened upon a particular blonde woman in there. Claimed to be a traveling monk, though
Of course. asking.
The crossbow she was wielding and the bolts she had for it were a little weird, maybe a little out of the ordinary, and from what a couple of you also noticed in the conversation, maybe she wasn't exactly the most straightforward you've ever met someone. Her name was Caladarco, and where we last left off, you were basically up in the room of the inn. You can just call her Kella, I think.
Kella?
Huh?
Kella?
Kella, just
Kella.
Kella. Kella. And for everyone to have a quick impression of what she looks like, we can.
That'd be nice. Yeah, but clearly she was lying, that I remember.
Oh, that's great when it's all in that. No, it's still not very good. Let's take it over here. It's probably easier.
Almost.
Well, one second while I fidget with this.
She's wearing a book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So that was basically where we left off. You had just sort of gotten the idea that something is probably a little wrong with her, but to recapitulate also what she told you is that basically she had only arrived here recently, and then stones started falling from the sky, so she didn't exactly see what happened, but she did see that the villagers fled the village. And a couple of hours later, the goblins appeared with the wargs, and that's why she's been sort of hunkered down. She says she was too scared to leave initially. She didn't know what was going on exactly, so she hunkered down. And that's where you met her, now in the inn.
And did she tell us why she came here in the first place?
She said she was on a pilgrimage.
Alright. I think I had asked her what school she's.
Yes, and she actually told you something about the school further down south near Baldur's Gate, but it didn't exactly match up with what you knew about the school.
I remember, yeah, okay. But I remember a pretty good insight roll, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple of very good insight rolls.
Paladin as well, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's me. I believe her. She's a monk.
Excellent.
But I think
Don't lie.
did I recall that wrong? The paladin thought that he made a check if she's not human or
He did
something, something
he-
evil,
he-
and that was negative.
Yes, that was negative. She wasn't
Yeah.
something.
But then he saw something moving.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
that was basically the last part where we stopped,
Yeah.
where he
Yeah.
noticed something sort of move beneath her cloak, and I think that's also what prompted his.
The wind, or
No,
No.
it's pretty wind still in the inn right now, even with the holes.
Okay.
So it looked like something moved up here in this area,
Oh.
and you're not entirely sure what's going on with her.
Just a familiar.
Monks always have to me.
Oh yes.
Little rat.
Like the doves come out.
Okay, so you've just noticed this. You just saw whatever that was moving. We'll say you saw it since he's unfortunately not here right now, Alvin. So
Could I do some kind of survival check or something to see if I know what that is?
it'll be a very hard roll to detect what it is beneath the
Okay.
cloak, but you can certainly try. Yeah.
Okay. So survival?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no. 7.
No, it just to you it maybe looked like a little. It's weird that something moved. Maybe she's very muscular, and maybe she just had to flex her shoulder muscles. You're not entirely sure.
I'm just gonna say, what is that behind you? There is something. Is that a spider? Or
What?
something in your back in the rope?
No, I didn't feel
No,
anything.
my eyes aren't the best as they used to be, but I just saw something there.
I think you're wrong. I didn't feel anything. No.
Didn't you see that as well?
I think so. I think we should stop playing around. We are here surrounded by dangerous stuff, and we should work together.
Yes, I agree. We should definitely
You should work with
together.
us.
Yes, that sounds lovely. Didn't you say you already took care of most of the goblins?
No, there are plenty. Yes, more. I think we remember that we just saw before one goblin with a bag full of chicken
You
or
got
something.
rid of
and-
that one.
Yeah,
Oh, we
but
saw-
there are
she
more.
doesn't
I'm pretty sure there are more. We just killed like 4
We
or
do not
5.
know.
We need your help.
Did
Come
you-
with us.
Did you have a chance to check the temple yet? What's the bell ringing all about?
That we haven't stopped that actually. So we're actually yelling right now.
Ah, yeah.
No, in here it's a little dampened, but it's by now. I think we also rolled some wisdom saves last time. Most of you were fine.
Yeah.
We could go stop that. Yes, this is starting to buzz my ears. Shall we stop the freaking noise?
Yes, very, very true, my friend. Let's do that.
I'm okay with this crossbow. I'll join along here.
What? Speak louder.
I'm okay with this crossbow. I can. You saw the goblin down below.
Yes, this is your bolt, by the way. Very peculiar.
It's not that peculiar where I come from, but yes.
Where do you come from?
I think
Close
I
to
have a
Baldur's
bolt.
Gate, I already
know.
mentioned that.
From where?
From close to Baldur's Gate, that's where the monastery lies.
Do many monks use crossbows from where you are from?
It's a little more common down south, but even there it is unusual, I'm certain.
I have never met in my life, and I'm a very old man, I've never met that I remember a monk using a ranged, a crossbow, it's a mechanical piece of weapon,
Don't you think that sounds a little outdated?
Well, that's
The
not
kids
very,
these days.
yes, that's a bit rude, young girl,
I'm sorry.
Alright, got it. Let's take care of the beds.
Should we?
We keep an eye on her though.
I think so. Can we
How
make
are,
a?
how are you how are you keeping an eye?
I don't know. I hide normally behind the paladin, or that's what I did before.
You
And
could just stay here.
with her? No,
No,
you're
no,
coming
she's
with
coming.
us.
She's coming, but
Yes.
I'm ready to come down as well, yeah.
Okay.
So you're coming with us.
Sure.
Do you trust us?
I just met you.
So what holds you back? Why don't you trust us?
She just met us.
We killed so many goblins. We're on your side. We're against the goblins together.
You're apparently very capable of killing. That's someone you should always be very careful of.
Yeah, but you as well, as we can see down there.
Milo, I hardly
Okay.
trust you.
Come on, we're friends.
It's been one night. We've been traveling together, so.
Okay. So you want to move along?
Yes, I just want this noise to stop so we can stop yelling at each other. Does that sound like a plan?
What?
Maybe you're hard of hearing already.
And so as they're sort of walking, I think we presume you're leaving the inn to head towards the temple.
Yeah, we definitely don't leave her behind us.
Well, can I hang back and watch her walking?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd rather see her as I walk than have her behind me.
Can you roll me an insight or perception check,
Oh,
whichever
no.
is better for you?
We're all dead.
Same bet. Right, 18.
Okay, and we'll get back to that in a second. But for now, we'll jump to as they're walking down the inn stairs to maybe head over to the temple. Pavel, you just recently were back on your way from a hunting trip, and you've caught a nice couple of foxes and hermelins, which will serve nicely as pelts for these spoiled women. But you very quickly realize that something is wrong here, right? These bell sounds, they've been going on for way too long. You've been hearing them for at least 10 minutes while walking through the forest. That doesn't seem very usual. And so as you approach, you see the gate is down, or the water bridge is down, so you can just simply walk onto it. You don't see any guards. And actually, can you roll me a perception check?
Yes. And then 10.
10?
Yeah. 7 plus
so
3.
You're not exactly certain what it is, but as you sort of look into the bridge, you sort of see two huge heaps of what looks like, are these giant dogs? You've probably seen them before, but from out here it's a little hard to see. You get closer and you sort of, what do you want to do as you sort of come upon what looks like a very disturbed Nightstone.
I'll approach just very slowly,
Mhm.
but still walk towards the. I mean, I think I can see some movement towards the end, so I'll just walk slowly towards that.
Are you being careful to not be seen, or?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, so you're sort of at the ready, and you're walking down the bridge. You sort of.
I sort of have a defensive stance.
And you take a quick glance about, and you see a picture of destruction. Like you see all of these stones down there that sort of hit multiple buildings, seem to hit multiple parts of the village entire. You don't see any people around, but you do see now, as you come closer, you can definitely identify them as two wargs that seemingly have been slashed and burned from judging by the wounds they carry. You don't see anything else in particular, but the deafening sound sort of starts annoying you quite heavily, quite quickly. And that is also because you're sort of looking in that direction when you see a very weird troop of people sort of come down out of the inn, people you've never seen before, and amongst them a couple of rather unusual ones, like, for example, the entirely black tabaxi. Not sure if you've ever seen a tabaxi before, but it's a motley crew.
I'm not hunting prey, just
And the same thing for you guys, of course, as well. As you're sort of coming out of the inn, sort of feel a little careful trying to head towards the temple that's right next door, you see a short, stout dwarf that's heavily clad in some armor, some weapons, I think mostly battle axes.
Yeah.
And he has quite a few pelts on sort of strung to his backpack.
Okay, so I assume you're going first, and I'm just behind you, as usual, and I shout, "Hey guy, what are you doing there?"
Thank you. I die again.
And I hide again behind him.
Hello, I just arrived. What happened here? What's going on?
What? Okay, so he seems friendly, so I guess we're gonna.
I walk a little closer to them. I assume that they're friendly.
Hold that thought. Bell.
No, what are you doing? Who are you?
I just came back from a hunting trip, and I was supposed to deliver these, but everyone seems to be gone. What are you doing here?
We're trying to get rid of the bell. It's very loud.
That sounds like a good plan.
Let's do that.
Okay, so we've already been inside though, right? Oh, we haven't.
No,
been inside.
you've sort of left it for last, basically, because
Yeah, right.
you could really use the cover of this, basically the deafening sounds to not be heard while you fought goblins, so you didn't have 20 at once, but rather 2 by 2 by 4 or something like it. And it's actually as you sort of step up onto the temple when suddenly, in an act of kindness, it falls quiet. And it's a sound you haven't heard in a very, very long time. It feels like forever.
Are we alarmed? I think we are alarmed.
I would
Because
say
it's
we're-
not us
That's
that's...
creepy.
Obviously not.
I'm alarmed. I'm scared.
Yeah.
I think I have my...
Do I still have mage armor on? It's
Yes.
like for 8 hours.
Yeah. Don't worry, you definitely still have that one.
And I haven't dropped my staff this whole time, so. By the way, are you a monk?
No, I'm not alone.
An honest one.
So, are we moving back to the house? Or?
So where are we now? So where's actually? I don't even know where the temple is. Could you see?
Yeah.
Okay, so temple is actually right to your left. This building over here, that's the temple.
Oh, that's the temple.
So as you're sort of all
We all
coming,
come. In
Yeah.
Good, I'm in the front.
you're not exactly. I'm just
Okay.
gonna.
Okay, okay.
So I'm looking around, searching for anything.
Well, whatever stopped the bell, it must be inside the temple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
You
should
can
go
roll a
and sneak.
perception check,
Huh?
or you can roll a perception check.
7 plus what? Plus 2. 9.
You sort of listen intently, but you're not sure if it's like your ears have been basically ringing because of the bells for a couple of hours, and now it's sort of it's still ringing a little bit in your ears, and you are trying to listen if anything is moving towards the door inside, but you can't hear anything other than the ringing in your ear, which is pretty fucking annoying.
I think we should hide somewhere.
I
I
think we
don't
should
know
just
what
go
you
in.
guys want to
Let's
do.
just break the door down. Let's see what's
No.
going on.
Let's in the powder first.
I'll go behind you.
This is why players who are not here should not be played by the DM. But yes, let's do that.
Okay, I move along. So no, but you
Well,
guys
it's like-
want to go in?
So,
or-
there's a door right in front of us to the temple?
Maybe we
Yes,
can-
there's a
we
door
can
right in
see,
front of you.
Do we know if there are
before
others?
maybe someone can go from above.
So you mean.
But
or our stuffy.
maybe we should send the monk,
That's-
the girl, the blonde girl.
Oh yes,
The monks.
she's a monk.
No, is yeah, she's a
She
monk.
said she
right?
Yeah, she can.
What's her name again?
Kella.
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 What,
No.
I'm sorry, what exactly is it you want?
No, I go in. You.
You just, you just told me to join you, to
Huh?
trust you, and now
Okay. I'm.
What he means to say is that monks are good at climbing, and then so is our friend. Maybe you can go from above while we will enter the main door.
is there an entrance from above?
Probably there must be a window.
So is it
Is
how many
there-
floors
is
is
it-
it? How many?
It's actually not a very tall building. It's like it's basically like what you'd expect from more modern or like more European churches, where it's a singular, rather high, but it doesn't look like it has 2 stories.
But it would have the church.
It does.
buildings, right?
If we
Or like
we go.
I'm not sure if I want to trust her and move just along with him up there.
You should go with.
So basically, this is back here.
Everything you say, right?
Back here, that is the bell tower. That the building in front is the inn. So the damage, that's the inn where you sort of came in through the roof as well. But so just so you have an idea of the type of the bell tower.
Oh,
We can see the bells then,
Oh yeah, you can see the bell, and it has stopped ringing.
and we don't see anyone there.
In the upward bell, no, you don't see anyone sort of moving around up there. Doesn't look like it.
I wouldn't mind. Well, the thing is, I could climb up there, but I don't think I can see much from the.
No, stay with us. Stay with us. Last time you left us, you already almost died. Please stay with us.
No, that was the second to last time.
Okay.
Last time I
That's
saved
true.
some people's ass
That's
because
true.
I told her not to shoot you with a crossbow.
That's true. Indeed.
should we go around and check for other entrances?
Yeah.
Not just the main one. Maybe there's a back.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea. That's a good idea.
So my understanding is this is one big room inside, right?
From what you can tell from outside, it's very likely. You haven't been inside, so it's hard to tell
And
exactly.
we must have seen if there's a door from south.
There was. I don't think there's no door from the south. No.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Can we
let's
go-
go.
So
to
we
the
go around the
cemetery.
perimeter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Right.
go.
Where are you trying to move? To the up? To the
Up in the
Yeah.
cemetery side.
Okay.
Cemetery.
Are you still looking
Yeah,
at
I
the
still
blonde
don't.
chick?
Yeah, I still don't want her out of my
We
sight.
Okay.
always keep her in our
Okay.
sights for sure.
Yeah.
Exactly, so-
that will attack us.
As you're sort of, are you trying to be sneaky?
Oh, actually, now we should start trying.
Yeah, because it's not loud.
Before we didn't have to.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
we
now
are.
that you ask us.
Yeah, just making
No,
sure.
we are because it was
Yes.
raining a lot.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
so.
we are alert at least, like
Let us be a bit quiet.
Yes.
Well then, let's roll some stealth checks, please.
Natural 1.
Oh,
I can re-roll.
Nice.
11 plus 5. 16.
6.
8.
6,
16.
8.
21.
13.
Okay, that's more successes than fails in this case. That should be fine. Actually, I
That's how
want
it's
to
good.
roll for someone. And it's her, and then for Alvin with disadvantage. No, that still works. Lucky you. So you sort of creep against the temple, and Mara, this is actually, Kella is just a little in front of you because
Mhm.
you're sort of staying at the very back as you're moving along the upper side through the graveyard.
Mhm.
And you see it moving again. And with the look you get this time, you basically get an idea. She has to have like a reptile or a snake or something like it that is moving along her back while she was walking in front of you.
Okay.
And you're sort of a little caught off guard by that when in the same second from your left, as you're sort of the last person to round the corner, you hear as the door of the temple creaks open.
Okay.
Which
The behind us or
Behind
like the
basically
front door? that we
the
were
front
just-
door, yes. You were moving to up here. I'm not gonna make a perfect line, but basically what you hear is that down here from the door, it just sounds like it just opened up, and not
Okay.
exactly sure what's happening here.
Okay. Can I like grab? I don't know how close we all
We're all
are.
together.
You're directly behind Kella, and she's behind the next person,
Yeah.
and so on.
So I'm like grab her and be like shh, and then pull up, like get back to the wall. So that-
Okay, and I think she realizes immediately what you're up to and sort of gives the next person a sign, and all of you probably quickly sort of go against the wall. And some of you can't exactly see what's happening back there. Or, well, the order doesn't matter too much for now. But you can definitely see that a couple of what looks like 3 goblins who are holding their ears, and they look like they're drunk off their asses. One of them is still holding like wine bottles they look very big when you put them in the hand of children-sized creatures. So it's basically drinking from that bottle and seemingly very intoxicated. The other 2 are sort of swerving a little bit. Most of them are sort of scratching their ears a little. It just looks like they had a great party time, which was excellent. But now they're sort of ready to get to other things, and they're looking around a little bit, but they seem a little too out there to really have noticed you. You guys
And also
seem
we're very stealthy. So who is stealthy among us? The 2 of us are.
But-
and I think you are as
My
well.
stealth is pretty good. Yeah.
I'm-
my stealth is good.
I'm curious. Three of them. I don't have any range weapons.
Oh, but actually, now that we've succeeded in our stealth, we can get a surprise attack, right?
Yeah.
Or
it depends on what you're trying to do.
No. Who else can see?
can we
us?
see them?
Just me
on the
or?
map, or?
You're
I'm-
basically at the very back, so you can definitely see them.
But I'm curious,
Yeah.
as always. So I'm
Creep. Creeping up.
I'm hiding behind her and looking forward.
Mm-hmm.
There are goblins.
What?
They're drunk. They're drunk. Super drunk.
I should kill them. Easy
targets. Yeah, let's go on the killing spree.
And as you're sort of saying that to yourself, you do see them sort of stumble on out there, the 3 of them, seemingly heading for the lower part of the inn. They're sort
Let's
of-
just inspect what they do.
They probably need some more wine or something.
Yeah, but
Until
Can
they
you-
get away.
you guys have range weapons. Can you
Yeah, we can
stay back
blast
from
them.
behind?
Blast them.
Yeah.
But that's
You want to move forward,
We'll be
step
very
reset.
It'll be very subtle. The blast. Eldritch blast.
No, my blasts are
But
very
3, we are 3. We need 3 guys.
He has some good looking weapons. I think that can help, right?
Yeah.
You have range weapons.
Just have a hand axe.
I think I can throw that.
You can throw them.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And you 3, and I point to the blonde woman, you.
Sort of notches her crossbow. She seems ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Maybe don't tell you, you're the old
I forgot what my awesome climbing works like. Can I just climb without issue, or
You have a climbing feet of 20 feet, I think, per round for free. So yeah, you can easily just climb this, or most of the way up this building, onto the roof if you want to. It's not very hard for you.
okay?
You don't need to roll any checks. or
Okay,
so on.
so then I would like to do that,
You're sort of starting to move up the building.
and I want to get into a position where I can attack from above, basically. Just
Okay.
leap at them.
Okay.
And then we just kind of all agree on a gesture, and we just all attack at the same time.
Yeah.
I'll just,
Well, depending on how we roll our initiative.
I'll just delete this for now so we can have a clear view of where everyone is.
So I assume, as in the games before, that I'm staying always like 2 inches behind the paladin and moving forward with him.
Okay.
So I'm not playing the paladin, but I think that's what
Sounds
might
reasonable. Yeah.
happen.
So your plan exactly is that all of the people who have ranged weapons are readying an attack, and then you're gonna start it off. What we'll do for this is we will have everyone roll for initiative. And I will.
And I would say actually, let's have the range attacks first, so that we're not in the crossfire. And then we go. So you can always hold action, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
so
another 9. Okay.
Well, you have to wait for me.
Initiatives,
Yeah, that's great.
Alright, we're already in there. That's excellent.
9.
13.
Okay,
13.
one by one, please. I need to add you in new stuff. Okay. Okay, my level is 13. Kella had an 11. Then Herman.
11.
Okay, stays. Drifting Cloud.
9.
9. Mara.
6.
6. Elwyn had an 8. And. Okay, what is this? And Pavel?
13.
13x. This is. After. Lucky for you, they rolled really shitty too.
Well, it's not like they're going to do anything anyway.
Okay, yeah, who knows? Don't get overcast.
Is it a surprise attack though or not?
It is that this is a surprise round, so right now on you have advantage against creatures that haven't acted yet. So Pavel, you're up first together with Milo. Whoever of you wants to go first can hit it and attack with advantage.
So they're in range.
They're very close. They're definitely in range.
Okay.
Can I just ask something?
Mhm.
Because the way I know surprise rounds is that everybody's in initiative, but the enemies who are unaware just don't act on that.
Yes, that's exactly what will happen. They will skip this round. They're basically, as soon as it's their turn, that's when they lose surprise. So if they had rolled high on initiative, they still, you maybe wouldn't have gotten advantage. They wouldn't have gotten to act this turn.
So they can
okay.
still
There's two
act if they get attacked before their round.
No, they can't act, but basically you lose your advantage as soon as they have had a turn, but they don't act on that turn. They
Okay.
just basically
Turn to
lose
this.
it. Yeah.
But at the moment we have advantage on our attack.
Yes, at the moment you have advantage on your attack rolls against surprise creatures, so have at it, I think. Whoever wants to
Okay.
start from the two of you.
I think what my nature would be is to act second, not first. Although I would love to go first, but I'm the one that hides behind the dwarf and like,
Let's see that.
let's go.
Okay,
But then
I'll-
I will
I'll
push
use
him a
that.
bit.
Who is
Let's kill them.
Tema?
And then I will
Sorry,
push him a
it's
bit.
just
Okay.
it's still named wrong in this.
Oh, this is.
Is that Alvin? No.
No, that's
that's
Pavel.
Pavel.
That's Pavel.
Okay.
It just I don't know why the token name is weird. It will fix itself in a second. You can go ahead and roll your hand axe with advantage.
Napkins.
Pavel?
Yes, I will use the throwing axe on the upper left goblin,
Upper
the
left,
closest
okay.
one,
Mm-hmm.
and that's 16.
With advantage, you can roll again. You can roll
Oh,
higher.
yeah.
If you roll a natural 20 or something.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
16
16
hits?
plus 3,
Okay.
so 19,
Mm-hmm. Definitely a hit.
and then 1d8. Or no, that's 1d6 I think for the hand axe. So 4.
Okay, for 4 damage.
No plus.
1d6 plus 1.
Okay. So you roll your axe and it lands solidly, basically right in the middle of his shoulder blades, and he sort of, you see all of them immediately sort of fall into a sense of panic as he sort of starts looking around, holding his back, bleeding, and now he's definitely noticed at least you. He has the largest eyes, but he does still seem super drunk, and he's sort of fidgeting with his other hand to catch for any weapon, but right now he's doing nothing. Milo, you just saw the first hand axe go off. I presume you follow quickly.
Yeah, and I'm going for the same guy.
Go for it.
Don't you have sneak attack or something? It would have made sense you would go first.
He still has sneak attack because he has advantage.
Sneak attack,
17.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Which one are you attacking?
The same guy.
Same guy?
I'm going for the same
Mhm.
because that's my nature. So
It's your
D8.
MO. It makes sense.
Which one is the D8?
D8. I think that's
This
the
one?
D8.
Okay.
Whoa, nice.
That's 8
8.
plus 5.
No, that's for your attack roll.
Plus 3, plus your dex mod.
Okay.
Plus 3, so it's 11.
So the hand axe sort of stuns him at first, but he doesn't have many seconds left in his life to really think about what's happening as he turns around. He sees you, Pavel, and the second you see his eyes go wide, there's an arrow more or less right between them. And he sort of crumples down, while the other two are seemingly falling into a panic real quick, but that's when Kella sort of also draws up her crossbow. Oh yeah, that's a natural 19. That will definitely hit this poor creature. And yeah, that's better. A second bolt gets loosened and more or less simultaneously to the first one falling, the second one right next to it just crumples to the floor as well, letting out a quick squeak, but not much more than that. But that's definitely hearable now, which is a change of pace for you guys. Herman, it's your turn.
Oh, alright. So there's just one left then. I try to cast Firebolt on him.
Go for it.
See? Yeah, I have a 19 plus 5, 24. I should
Yes,
hit.
probably that's, yeah.
It's a close call.
Let me do the math.
So I have 4 damage.
4 damage, okay. And he gets scorched with fire, enveloping most of his head, but he sort of comes out a little less here. He drops the bottle he just had in his hand. But he quickly realizes that he's in quite a world of hurt here because he notices more and more people coming out from the bushes, or the side of the church rather. And that's when it's Drifting Cloud's turn from up above.
Who's gonna leap at him with a staff?
He's gonna jump down on him and hit him with a staff. Go for it.
It's like, I probably at this point he's like, what could go worse than this? And he looks up and he sees this black panther coming at him.
Sort of blocks out the sun for a tiny second as
Well, let me roll first.
yeah.
Let's see what I
With
can.
advantage, you know, you can.
Oh, I
roll
have advantage.
Yeah.
It's the same number twice. I don't know, that's a 6. Okay, so I got a 9 plus 5, 14.
14. And he's not wearing his shield. Yeah, that definitely hits from above.
Okay. And that's a D8 because I'm going with both hands. What's a D8? No, that's a D. Is it a D8?
That's a D8.
No, that's 5.
Okay, 5 points of damage as he comes down from above and basically punched this poor goblin, not into the floor, but you definitely caved his head in, and he crumples down to the floor as well, seemingly. Well, they all were truly drunk. You just ruined their party time, for sure. But it looks like they are all out of it. They're all dead with you standing on top of the one you just jumped down onto.
I feel a bit bad about this.
So
Good ambush.
Defenseless.
So I think I'm standing close by because I only have a rapier
Mhm.
to kill them. So as soon as they're dead, I'm trying to find some coins in their pockets.
Where are my d4s?
Should we establish a rule that we share equally all gains, or is it first come, first serve?
I'm sorry, guys. Maybe, maybe if you really have the need, I can give you some coin because I have a fairness.
I think you will just have to pay for drinks in the next town.
I will, no worries. No, I think I'm just sneakingly just checking.
Okay, so you check through their couple of pockets.
I'll check
what
one
you-
as well. I'm sure he can do
Okay.
them all before.
Yeah, you're up right next to one.
I'm on top of one.
Yeah. Okay. So as you sort of go through his belongings, you actually find that he has a nice and heavy pouch at his side. And as you sort of pull it free, you can see that actually Apparently, this party involved some plunder, and it looks like there are a couple of holy symbols. All of them basically a wooden unicorn, but the horn of the unicorn seems to be made out of silver. And you quickly now get an idea of which god resides here. It's one of the very frequent nature gods.
Yeah.
The lady of the forest, also the unicorn goddess. That's probably where he just looted it from, right? And there are 3 different ones of these holy symbols. They're probably worth a little bit of money. You're not exactly sure, but since the horn seems to be real silver, probably worth something.
Okay.
So he gets the coins?
He gets that. That's what he gets out of that pouch. You sort of loot the other 2, and what you do find are a couple of started wine bottles.
Okay, that's fine.
4 copper,
Okay.
7 silver.
4 copper.
So do I add? What do I add into? Do I add currency or?
You add 3 holy symbols of
Silver holy symbols.
unicorn holy symbols. That will be fine for remembering.
The door they came out of, that is now wide open.
It's wide open, yeah.
Okay. Do we see into the
You want to peek around the corner?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll me a perception check.
16.
16. You sort of peer around the corner. It looks very pillaged, but it looks mostly empty. Like the pews have been probably messed up, and you see another open door that seems to lead to like behind the altar, or where it's a little higher up, and then the altar is on top of it. There seems to be a wall and a door set into the wall where you assume it leads probably to the back quarters that were for the priests or the priest. Also, where probably the bell is to be rung, since it's at the very end of the building from your perspective. But that's only a part of what you actually notice, because, yeah, this looks rather empty. But what's that sound? And as you sort of concentrate on it, you do hear what sounds like a chomping noise.
Chomping?
Yeah, like someone is chowing down on a very nice piece of meat, but doesn't exactly come from in front. You sort of slowly turn your head, and you remember that over here, the wargs used to. I'll just move someone down here so I can get some vision. Down over here is where the wargs were initially chomping on that dog.
Okay.
Before they charged you. And it sounds like there's some more chomping noises behind the door of the stable, which is this building.
Oh.
And it sounds like someone's enjoying themselves for certain.
I'm good in here.
Yeah, seriously, you had to go inside the temple to hear something happening.
That was basically sort of as he's trying to peek around the corner to get an idea of what's inside the temple. That's when he sort of notices that sound for the first time.
Alright, so who's the closest person to me?
I think we're just
Yeah,
in front of you, actually.
Yeah. Cloud, do you hear this? There's some noise in the back.
What?
The stairs.
More coins?
No. We can get that later. There's some noise there in the back. The stables.
Now that you mention it, I hear it too.
What is that?
Anybody recognizes this kind of stuff? Just somebody eating or something eating.
I think it's most appropriate for you to make me
Yes.
a survival or nature
that's
check,
true.
whatever's better for you.
Yeah. Yes.
Orcs, maybe.
Yes.
Orcs.
Oh, 21.
21?
Yeah.
Well, you just saw a couple of dead wargs as you came in here, and from judging by how loud it is, fair guess there's a couple more, one more, something like it.
Okay. Sounds like there's 1, 2 more wargs in there.
Oh, I hate those.
Yeah.
They were jumping already.
Can we light the building up? I have oil. It's just up to you guys. I'm not just
Can you
what
describe the
can do.
building? Is it a few
Stable.
floors
There's
up
hay
or
in
just
there.
one?
Huh?
It looks
There
like
should be hay in the stables already. So it should-
it looks
Yeah,
like it
but
has
let's
two
check it
floors,
out.
2 stories,
Mm.
and probably the higher part doesn't look like it's very high up. Like it's
Yeah.
sort of a low ceiling, so probably just like the area above where the horses are probably stabled is just used to store hay, right? So that's what you'd expect. It's not very tall, and there is, from what you can tell, also from what you saw while you were on the roof of the temple, there seems to be a hole right through the middle of the building where stone came down into it.
You seem to know, by the way, I'm Drifting Cloud. Nice to meet you. I'm sorry, we were a bit busy before. You seem to know these creatures fairly well. Are they fast?
Very.
Are they? Yes, very fast.
But
Have
let's
you
go
already-
to the stable and check it out.
Had you seen them already?
Stealthy.
Did you kill some of the ones that I saw?
Those two were kind of
That was us. That
I
was us.
see. Very impressive.
mostly but yes.
Okay.
Where is that paladin?
You have to talk up, but talk up.
I'm right here.
I'm not.
I don't know what you're
Right,
talking
let's
about.
go into the temple. It can't possibly go in there. We'll just barricade ourselves in.
And then what?
And then we'll just see from the bell tower. Maybe you can attack it from there.
One more question. Can they climb walls? Are they good climbers?
Yes, I assume so.
Oh, maybe not. Like dogs are not good.
They're more in the realm of dogs,
Oh,
where
okay.
wherever they can jump, and they look a little bigger, so they can probably jump a little higher than the
Mhm.
usual dog can. But they're not
From the
climbers.
tower.
But there is a certain risk that you don't know what kind of feats of athleticism they are capable
So
of.
here's an idea. We could all go on the roof of the inn and the paladin could go and fetch them for us.
I'm going with you.
I have another proposition. I do have an expendable friend that I could just call from another realm.
That sounds lovely.
But you want to use that for that? It's just a war.
We have an expendable friend right here.
No, we have
Victor's
we
still
have
not.
we have the blonde girl as well.
She's right
Here,
next to you. She can hear everything you say.
The paladin as well, and he's my friend.
Yeah, he's
Don't
just,
kill.
he's just giving both of you the death stare for suggesting.
I'm defending her right now, so I
No, he is
Ah,
giving
he.
you for that suggestion. He seems a little.
Okay. So I'm
Guarded
for
for
killing
now.
the warg, and I'm going with the tank paladin, and maybe somebody wants to join.
I have another proposition. Why don't we set a trap and maybe Rupert could lure him? Rupert is a little rabbit. I know. He's quite agile, and I can summon him from the Feywild.
Will he come out of a hat?
Oh yes. I am that kind of a wizard.
Did we say we could just set it? We could lay a trap outside the door and set it on fire, and so when they escape the fire, they fall into the trap as
Yeah.
well.
But I think we first have to. So I would like to go to the house and check out how many
Gold pieces.
dwarves are inside. First,
I'll also just make a quick note, and that it's not entirely clear how that warg got in there because the door seems closed, and I don't think wargs close doors, not as far as you know
So
at
there
least.
are goblins potentially as well.
Or maybe they closed them in there or something, but it's not exactly straightforward why the door is closed when there's something still inside.
okay, but then I maybe go for hermit. Let's go inside the church, check the church out. We can worry about that.
The door is closed and they can't open doors.
No, you can just
I can open doors. Which door is closed? The ward
same
doors. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh, well, one could just open it, and Rupert would just be the prey, the target. They wouldn't notice the other person.
See.
Someone particularly sneaky would just pass away. Looking at you.
So you still want to kill the ward?
Oh, yes. Killing the war, yes, but in a safe manner. For most of us.
Let's see that.
Except Rupert.
Well, Rupert, you see, he is fast. He can make it out, and He has a big family. They reproduce a lot. He has many ancestors now in the Fae that I can summon.
Oh.
Many children now.
Which generation are you at?
Rupert is an active rabbit. Yes.
Okay. So I'm not a decision maker. Just you guys go, and I go along with you.
I just think these creatures being so fast, maybe it makes sense that we place the ranged attackers up that roof.
Yes.
I can bring down the rope like we did last time.
Yes.
Yeah, I can also be there just to see what Rupert is doing.
Yes, that's.
And shoot fireballs.
So I would then go quickly up the inn,
Okay.
like I did last time on the roof, then secure a rope
Mm-hmm.
and help some of the.
Do you want to come with me?
So I want to get
Okay.
you alone so I
I
can
don't
tell
want
you
to
what I
go
saw.
alone.
That's
Okay.
fair.
And I don't know.
So maybe you're first coming
So-
with me up
Yeah,
top, and then you
exactly.
tell me.
Yes. So
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you like, because we traveled together.
Yeah.
Buddy, like I just saw on her back something crawling, like reptile or snake or something. She is not what she says she is.
Yes, that much I figured, but I am not one to judge.
But do you know what might have something like that? Would I know what might have some, like what kind of person would have something crawling on their back? Is this
Weird people.
weird people?
Yeah.
Maybe that's her version of Rupert.
Yeah. Maybe monks there do this.
But keep an eye, and
Hmm.
if anything goes wrong, make the funny sound we've agreed on.
Will do.
So we are moving together with the paladin, I think.
Towards the door.
The giraffe sound,
Yes.
of course. The giraffe.
So you can sneakily open the door, and I'll also hide behind the door,
So
so we can potentially.
no, but we're making signs to them so that they ready the weapon. You're on the roof, right?
Yeah, but I'm
But
gonna
who's
come
on?
back down.
You're down.
I'm just helping them up.
Mhm.
Who's going up? All of
I
them.
went up first.
I'm
Okay.
going up as well.
So Kella will probably join you
Yeah.
upstairs.
That's what I'm gonna do.
So when I'm helping you up, I guess you know what? Then I'll make sure he goes there second, so that you can tell him as I tell him.
Okay.
Okay. Where would you want to be on this map?
And then I bring the woman Kela.
Yeah, she seems pretty agile. She doesn't have much trouble getting up there, especially with your rope. But where would you like to position yourself as they sort of are planning on knocking on that door?
We're not knocking.
Yeah, I'm aware you're not knocking.
And I'm gonna go on the roof because that's just my thing now, apparently.
So
You want to go on the roof?
Yeah,
Attack from above. Great.
that's my signature move. It just
Yeah,
it just happens.
It's a good
that's
style.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
But you, are you actually able to do traps?
I'm not.
I think so. Yeah.
Ah, cool.
I'm not so far away from the paladin.
Okay. Like this.
Like
Yes.
Right.
I'm holding his hand almost.
his leg.
Can you roll
Yeah.
a perception check, please?
Oh, that's gonna be okay. That's 17.
17. Okay.
Are we not level 2 by then?
No, you're not exactly level 2 just yet.
kill the one.
So as you climb up onto the roof, you sort of get up there and you see the hole you already saw from the roof of the inn and from the roof of the temple, and you're pretty sure this is gonna go over great. And that is when I would like everyone to roll initiative.
Oh
I
no!
can actually see what I'm supposed to
Oh,
Oh.
7
Great.
sick. Okay.
plus 3, 10.
It's not good.
Better than me.
Okay. Let's start. Drifting Cloud,
13?
13. Align. That's a 17. Not bad. Mara,
8.
8.
It's okay. I was worse.
And they actually. That's such a nice roll. Pavel,
6.
6.
Such a nice roll.
Milo,
10.
10.
Oh.
That's a 12. Herman,
7.
7. I think we have everyone. So let's just go. So, the second you pop up onto the roof and you sort of listen around for, and you still hear the chomping down beneath you, but you're not, as you sort of move closer and closer to the hole, you're not exactly prepared for what happens next, because apparently some goblins heard you moving on their roof. And as you wander closer, two of them sort of pop up, short bows in hand, and they are going to use their surprise round to attack.
So I'm right next to them.
They basically, I'll give you an idea of where they pop out.
Because you said it's right there in the hole that I was passing by, right?
You are sort of
You're down.
moving towards the hole, and they're you'll be pretty close to them.
Does that mean they get disadvantage of their range?
You're not within 5 feet of them. You just sort of came
Should've
up
burned
onto
it
the
down.
roof. I'll just 1 second here.
Wait, what? Oh, I see.
And
Okay, far back.
I was
Okay.
confused.
I didn't realize.
basically, as you're a little further up here, but as you're sort of walking on the roof towards the hole, is when they pop up, and they're gonna fire at you.
Just push him down the house.
The first hit is a 20. I think that's a hit. 20. The second one is a 21.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh
that hits.
man, oh man.
They're
Shit.
sharpshooters.
Okay.
You take a total of 8 damage
Wow.
Oh,
from the 2 arrows that hit you.
oh no.
Get out of there.
And the second they shot their arrows, they duck beneath the down into their hole again, seemingly disappearing from out of sight from you people.
They got in the hole.
Yes, they basically look like they just poked out, shot, and they duck down and they disappear out of line
It's
of
not
sight
too
from
big.
all of you.
Okay.
Mm.
So you yell a bit like, shit!
So this first round we're basically just gonna skip because all of you are surprised, since I don't think anyone has a special ability that doesn't let them get surprised here. So all of you get surprised, so we're skipping the first round, which is when the goblins get to act again. And well, it looks like they were well prepared for you not stealthing up to their door, because the next second you're still sort of, you and the paladin are standing right next to the door. The door swings open, and you see just a small goblin hand disappear as it opens up, and that's when you hear the chomping noises become a little louder.
Oh.
Stop, turn, and I'm gonna roll the initiative for the war, see where it lands.
Oh, weird. Screwed. I should be up the roof as well. Just kidding.
Ooh, he was scared.
And
They do look scary. But I have an animal handler and a tower next to me.
that's 11.
And they won't attack you first.
No, they are, because I think maybe I'm the...
And apart from that, the goblins don't seem to. The goblins you see from down below, it's just the door open now. You see the warg.
But I haven't seen the two goblins who attacked him, right?
No,
I'm
you
just
have no
up
idea.
there, so I don't
You
know
probably
what's them up.
screamed when
You
I got
probably
hurt.
hear the scream from above, but you have no idea that all of that went. You have an idea, but you're not exactly sure what went up, what went down on the roof. Which is when a couple of goblins are gonna peek up again. The two of them up there. They peek up to take another quick look around, see that the cat is still well within their grasp.
I cannot push against the door, or that's not my time to do it.
You can do that when it's on your turn
Okay,
for sure.
okay.
But for now, they are gonna focus on the cat that's on their roof.
So if
But
they roll
while-
well, they're gonna kill it.
The other one is seemingly looking around first before attacking, and now they do not have advantage. That's a 4.
Okay, that misses.
Not again.
15.
Where is my... I have 15. I don't know if that hits or not.
That hits, unfortunately.
Oh, I die.
You take 3 damage,
Yeah,
and you fall unconscious on the roof. Roll me a d20, please.
A d20.
Yeah, just a flat d20.
20.
Okay, so what actually happens is, well, you see him sort of start sliding down the roof, and you get the idea that, oh fuck, he's gonna tumble again like the first time. But apparently his claws caught into something, and he falls down the roof while clinging to, basically taking a little bit of the roof with him and landing on the soft mattress of hay he took down with him, now down beneath, unconscious, but not in the range of danger per se as he sweeps down. You sort of see him go down.
I would assume anybody on that roof, of the inn's roof, would have seen everything actually.
They saw everything, yeah. They all saw everything.
They're all
that
laughing.
happened.
Alright, have a nice.
And the goblins are gonna do what they do best and pop back down again. Because they're not stupid creatures. And it's Alwine's turn. I think Alwine with the door open right before him and seeing the warg is likely to take a step in and try and
give you a
slaughter
potion.
him.
We still have potions, right?
I think someone still has a potion.
I think I have
A potion.
one. I forgot how many we got there.
Sorry?
That's
The health potions.
I do have one.
I
I
don't.
think I am the one who has it.
You
Who got it from the.
Yeah, I think
But
we
you
have it.
distributed, because you got a few, and then you distributed.
No, that's not the.
No, I
That's
think
the
it's one or something.
Just the
yeah, it's one health potion, and we do have
The grapple.
healer's kits.
Healers kits. That's
Mm.
which are auto
Which
stabilizers.
stabilizes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what you actually see as you sort of peek around the corner and see Alwine take a step forward with his shield up, he just basically plunges the sword right into the neck of the creature and leaves a very, very deep gash. He rolled max damage against the creature and really gave it a solid hit. And it does seem to be reeling a bit from the hit, but preparing to strike him the next second. As he moves closer, Drifting Cloud, I would like for you to roll a death saving throw.
So I have to do 10 or more? What is it?
Yes, 10 or more is a success.
Yeah, 17.
17? Okay, that's one success.
And then you got me 3?
So yeah.
It's Kella's turn, seeing as up here she's gonna have to rely on the creatures popping back up. I think she's gonna... Yeah, she's gonna... You could definitely see her sort of ready her crossbow and aim at the hole, sort of preparing for whatever pops out to play whack-a-mole with her crossbow.
Can we see the work from?
It's probably a hard angle, but you can probably see him and try to hit him, but he'll have 3/4 cover, so it'll be a hard hit.
Okay.
And that is when
You
you
gonna hold
hit.
action, you mean? Or?
Yeah, I'm not ready as well for the goblins to pop up. Yeah.
Okay. And it's the work's turn.
Works. You.
No,
That's not a
war.
one work.
No, no.
The works.
The works.
The works. Like, just, it's singular.
Yeah.
It's singular.
Yeah, it's a singular.
One word.
One work.
That's eight. Oh, that's.
Oh, what?
That's 21 to hit.
Oh shit. Who? The paladin. No.
How much damage?
Don't kill Victor, man. He's not gonna be happy.
Oh god.
Oh god.
Victor, the paladin died.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Let's just text him all his hit points.
Make it your character.
Apparently, this warg gives as good as he gets because the second sort of he gets the sword plunged into him, he takes a bite into Alvin's shoulder and rips a seizable part of the armor as well as the flesh out with it. And you definitely see Alvin stumble. He looks like he just sort of drops white for a second as you're standing behind him, but he is still on his feet for now.
Alright.
And that's when it's Milo's turn.
I'm going for the kill.
Go man, go for it. You get sneak attack, I think, because Alvin's
Definitely,
next to
Alvin's
you.
up against it.
Yeah, yeah.
What sneak attack?
Yeah, you get sneak attack.
If you hit,
Did you guys like some?
So I have to roll for a hit.
Yeah, let's go.
you
for
have
it.
to roll for it.
Thanks, man.
I'm not particularly
6
busy right now.
Yeah.
plus. What do I add? I'll roll a 6. Sorry.
5 probably.
You roll extra +5, but how does sneak attack work?
It doesn't matter for the 2 hit, only
So
for the
that's
damage.
11.
Oh,
Yeah, damn.
11.
11? No, that does unfortunately
Crap.
not hit. So you shoot your arrow and
I
it
don't
does.
have arrows. I just have.
You move up close to it? Okay.
Yeah.
So you try to stab into the leg of the creature,
Yeah.
but it, as it's sort of chomping down, it seems to be moving with great force and you don't really find a place to really stick it to him. Mara, it's your turn.
Okay. So I will ready my Eldritch Blast for when the goblins pop up.
Okay. Excellent. Herman, what about you?
I cannot see them, right?
Right now they disappeared back into the hole, but maybe they'll appear again. You're not entirely certain.
I know where they are though.
Yes, if they pop, you know they are somewhere beneath this hole because they've popped out a couple of times from it to shoot at Drifting Cloud and drop him unconscious.
Okay.
Nobody's got healing spells, huh?
Unfortunately, I think.
Our priest?
Our paladin has a life from one.
Right.
I think.
He already used his lay on hands.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true.
Is it short rest or long rest spread?
Long rest.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's choose
Let's see. The warg is really. The thing is, can I see the warg?
It's a hard angle, but yes. He does have
Is it
3/4 cover.
It's like disadvantage if I would attack.
No, it's 3/4 cover is he gets a bonus to AC, and half cover is +2. 3/4 is +5 AC. It's a lot.
It's not. Okay.
Yeah. How does he have 3/4 cover?
Because of the angle, because they're up on the
Because
roof and the
Oh.
door, so you sort of have to hit a
Thing
very
is-
narrow angle to
see.
really.
Sleep is a good spell
Hit
I
it.
could cast. And but the thing is not that the warg. It would affect the goblins. It would probably get rid of them for sure.
What does it do?
Yeah, I think I can cast that. Why not?
Casting.
I'm gonna cast sleep
Mhm.
in the place where I think they are.
Mhm, into that hole.
Into
Yeah.
that hole.
Mhm.
I don't think it will affect the warg because he's up down stairs, right? So
It's not that large a building, so you
Yeah.
have a chance.
okay.
You also do know that it might affect your friends because it does go from lowest
Oh,
to
yeah, it
HP
does
first.
go from the lowest.
So, but you do have an opportunity to sort of angle the spell, right?
Okay.
If you want, you can. It has a 20-foot radius, so if you just put it somewhere back here, okay, I'm on the
Yeah.
wrong level. 1 second. Sort of like this, then it can't hit them, right? If
Yes, that would be my goal to do actually, if I can somehow.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna cast sleep, which is 5d8s, which I don't know. Can you guys borrow me d8s or something? Because just 1, 2, 4, one more. Maybe.
Very well.
All right.
Sweet.
So that's 8, 15, 16, 19, 21, 22, sorry.
22.
22. Dice back, which is yeah. Who's
Okay.
there you go.
How does that work? What is this number?
So now the lowest ones are affected, which will be the goblins. So they're like this
Oh.
22 will first affect the first goblin, will take all of his health down to 0. He won't die, he'll fall asleep. Then the rest of the number will affect the second goblin and whatever else is there. So probably it will affect all the goblins. Maybe there's some which we don't know yet. And then it will affect the warg, but if it doesn't bring him to 0 health, he's not gonna, I think, fall asleep.
Just nothing.
Correct.
Does it hurt him still?
No, I
Okay.
think he just
Yeah,
resists.
that's what I thought.
but, yeah.
Okay. So for Alvin and Milo, who are close by as well as Pavel, I think you definitely hear as a couple of bodies tumble into the hay.
Can you say how many? Couple?
Okay, roll me a perception check.
Ah.
22.
22.
I'm sorry. No, 6.
Your sharp dwarven ears do hear like 3 bodies seemingly hit the hay upstairs, and they all look like they're in the upper parts where the hay is.
Okay.
They sort of have great cover up there, but you definitely hear like 3 of them,
Okay.
which is pretty nice.
And I assume I don't hear anything. When I get no
Here,
That
you
was
are
3.
very busy with how you just failed to stab this poor creature in front of you that is killing Alvin while you're
Yeah,
standing next to him. Okay,
He was
Pavel,
3.
it's your turn.
Still.
Okay. I will. Let's see. I want to do something like use my animal handling to try to better grapple the warg, but I don't think that works that way.
You want to try to grapple the
It's
ward?
like a strength.
Will animal handling help with that?
How proficient in it are you?
It is one of my proficiencies. It's +3.
Are you proficient in athletics?
No.
Okay.
Goblin is right though.
It's not a bad assumption actually. So what we'll do is you can roll an animal handling check, but you're using strength with it. So if you're proficient, it's +2 plus your strength modifier, and that's what you're gonna roll. You're
Okay.
gonna try and run up and grapple this thing. Okay,
Yes.
go for it.
Oh, you could kill it.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No, he wants to tame it.
Yes. To ride it.
You can definitely ride it.
Okay, that's 13 plus the 3 animal handling.
You beat him by 1. He rolled a 12 plus 2 for a 14. So as you sort of fail to stab and he's sort of chomping down an Alvin, you see the dwarf rush by you, jump up onto it on its backside, and you sort of have him by his neck, and you can sort of keep him in place for a little bit while you're riding on top of him for now.
Yes.
But that will be what you do on this turn. There's no about the work. Take inspiration for that one, please.
Oh, okay. Wait, what is it?
Good job. Good job.
Ooh.
It's what is it you get?
Whenever you choose, you can choose to gain advantage on your roll.
Oh,
So you can you have to spend it in advance, but then you can basically get advantage for your inspiration.
Oh, okay.
And as you sort of jump up onto the warg and sort of start wrestling him, you hear something out of the corner of your ear, and what you see from up above in the haystacks is a move not very unfamiliar to you. Is the last, what looks like a single last goblin, short sword and shield in hand, jumping down, trying to land on your back the way you went on top as well.
It's a pile up.
It's a fucking pile. That's a 15. What's your AC?
13, but is that, I think with adding leather to it, maybe, I don't.
What's your dex mod? +2?
It's, yeah.
Yeah, then the 13 is correct because leather gives +1. It's
Okay.
10 plus 1 plus 2, so 13.
Oh, okay.
So he does come down upon you from above. That's a high roll. And you take 8 damage as he sort of brings his short sword
Ow.
down across your shoulder, landing on your back as well. He doesn't hold on to you, but that definitely hurts a lot
Yeah.
as he stabs into the
Ow.
backside of you, seemingly going for it.
No, it's 10.
That's
10 damage, you
No,
said?
that's
8.
10. No, it's 8 plus.
Is it?
Oh no, 6 plus 2. Sorry, it's 8.
Eight.
You're right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's insane.
Short swords only do a
I
d6.
would be dead.
Only at level 1, that's still a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot. Alvin, that's how much does he have? It's +4. Okay. Alvin just manages to hit this creature.
The goblin or the...
I'm in trouble.
Or right Still in front not of
that's-
the wall.
That's chowing down on him, and he is
How many
gonna
is that?
slash the creature
How many hit
for
points?
another 5 points of
How many
damage.
hit points do you have left?
6.
The warg now looks reasonably injured. It's bleeding from multiple points, but it isn't exactly on its last steps yet. Drifting Cloud, it's your turn, and roll me another death save.
No, man.
Like a 20.
It's 12.
That's good. That's
Second
good.
success.
That's good.
Kella, who has by now basically readied her attack, but nothing ever popped up for her. So I think what she's gonna try to do is get down this building, which is an acrobatics roll here. Ooh, and you actually see her, she looks like she's very handy at first, but then she loses grip on the side of the building and just sort of tumbles down, falling prone at the bottom of it.
And do we see the lizard come out?
You do not see a lizard fall out as she takes a little bit of damage as she tumbles down, gets back up, but how much movement does she use? Yeah, she can still use her crossbow against the ward. But fires wild while she tries to shoot between Alvin and Milo. She doesn't really get an angle that works against the warg and only sort of hits the side of the barn with her
Okay.
crossbow.
But not me.
Not you, but it is the warg's turn. And the warg has a very annoying rider on top of him. So what he's going to try and do now is going to try and shake you off.
Mm-hmm.
So please roll me an athletics check or an acrobatics, whichever is better for you.
Okay. Acrobatics is 5.
5. Okay, in that case, he starts flinging you around, and you are tossed off the side. But luckily, that also means you're tossed a little bit away from the goblin. But he is no longer grappled by you, and now seemingly getting back at whatever's in front of him. But that was his turn, and it's Milo's turn.
Okay, let's kill the wargs.
Go for it.
9 plus. I forgot
Five.
what. Plus 5. Ah!
14?
Yeah.
That hits. Roll damage. And you do have sneak attacks from multiple people standing around.
Sorry guys.
What do you need?
D8.
D8
That's
and
one.
1d6.
Wait for this.
Together.
Yeah.
For the sneak attack.
4.
4 plus your dex is 7.
Do you not have all the pluses written by your weapon, by the way?
I do.
No,
No,
damage.
for the
For the
damage.
damage. You can write your +3.
Here?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, then you don't forget it.
Yeah.
These are plus two.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Forgetting.
Where does that come
thing.
from? That +3?
The
in
That's
that
It's
case?
from the dex.
Dex
It's
mod.
whatever the weapon is. It's finesse or ranged.
I think the weapons you chose
Oh,
only
minus
use
strength.
strength.
And
That's
that's
why.
okay.
So
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
Yeah, you stab the creature, and it sort of, since you can't reach very high up, you sort of hit a joint along its front leg, and it sort of breaks down for a little bit, but manages to catch itself. But by now, it's really panting, and you can actually see that it's looking past you, sort of maybe gonna try and run for it in a second if it can, because it does look like this dying animal is now trying to run as far as it can. Mara, it's your turn.
I will also try to come down from the roof. So how does that?
Just roll.
Just roll me an acrobatics check.
I left the rope out.
You left the rope?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, then she shouldn't have tumbled. In that case, you don't need to roll. You can
Okay.
just
Climb down.
you can just climb down.
Okay, so then I'll move to where I have a good shot with my Eldritch Blast for the warg.
Yeah, from here inside here is
Okay.
a pretty clear shot.
Okay, then I'll try to get the warg.
That feels very familiar.
9.
9, and that does
Yeah.
not hit. No.
Why
you
are you
sort of,
again
you're
trying
also a
to,
little
like-
too intent on the other
Yeah.
people who are
We
sort
get
of
that
standing
first
in your
level.
way. It's a little
Very
hard to
quickly.
aim, and
Yeah.
so it does go a little wide. Herman,
Okay.
it's your turn.
So the warg is still it's hard to hit, and the goblin is even worse, I guess.
You don't have an angle on that goblin. He's
Yeah.
basically up above in
Yeah.
that stable, so you really don't have an angle on him. Only people inside have an
Okay.
angle.
the warg. Maybe really tough to attack the warg. Yeah, I think going down and going to drifting cloud, could that be an option?
You can get to him, but you can't help him this turn.
Mm.
If you double move, you can get to him this turn.
I just dashed to him, yeah. I just go.
Because of your age, would you please roll me an acrobatics check?
Acrobatics check.
Yes.
With your age.
I have +2 in acrobatics. I have a natural 1.
Oh.
Oh dear.
So you sort of start climbing down the rope, and it's all going very well, and then suddenly your joint stiffens up, and it's a little crampy, and you let go, but oh, thank God, you were already so close to the floor. You only tumbled like 1 to 2 feet. It's fine. But that was a scare second. And you run over towards.
again. I will never dash in any situation. Even if hell demons will watch it.
So you run over to Drifting Cloud, who his injuries honestly don't seem that bad. He has a couple of arrows sticking out of his shoulder, but other than that, he doesn't look too bad right now. But definitely in need of some help.
Okay.
Pavel, it's your turn. You have just been tossed clean.
Just in case you
Okay,
feel this.
well, this time I won't try to kill the war. Well, I hope that one remaining goblin can't kill me if we can get the warg on this next turn.
Mhm.
So I will try to finish off the warg, my battle axe, which is 13 plus 3, so 16.
Yeah, that definitely hits. Roll
Okay,
damage.
and
Unless
then
someone really wakes them up, they're asleep.
4 damage.
How does it look like when you finish this creature?
Whoa.
Clean decapitation.
Clean decapitation. You
Helpless.
take your axe into both hands, you come up from above, just running up its backside, slap down onto its neck, and, well, The axe is a little too small for this, supposedly, but the head does come off mostly clean. It's a very
There's
heavy
a
blow,
flap.
but it does tumble down in front of the three of you, and now there's seemingly a single goblin active in the upper stages, and it's also.
I thought he was next to me.
Oh right, he jumped down. He's right next to you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Seeing this situation, he definitely knows his friends. What happened to his friends? Sort of looks between the three of you. Tosses his weapon to the floor. No! Don't give me! Don't give me! Love is friendly! Very friendly!
He speaks common too.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Interrogation.
You're gonna die. Sorry.
Don't kill him.
But I think the paladin goes first. I assume.
Question him since he's willing to talk.
Yes, don't kill him.
Yeah, like
Interrogate.
Huh?
Interrogate.
Alwyn will definitely put out his hand in front of you to sort of maybe get you to calm down a little bit if you want to, but that's all up to you. Or actually,
Is he biding time for his friends to wake up?
No, they don't
They have to be attacked.
it lasts for a minute.
last for a minute.
Yes.
But combat is such a fast pace.
We've only like 12 seconds have passed
Yeah.
so far, so
Yeah.
you still have plenty of time to.
Yeah.
But if you start chatting,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so we should
actually,
kill them first.
I think it's just the two of us in the room with the paladin.
Yes.
So I'm holding the blade onto his neck.
We can question him for one turn of 6 seconds.
Find him.
but you guys
What
don't
are
know
you
their
doing
sleep,
here?
Actually, you just heard them fall.
Well, we
Seems
knew
like
that
great
the
place
test
to-
How would you know?
Loot.
Oh, I just assume that we can all communicate.
Yeah.
What combat is
No,
happening?
but if you want to question him, you have
Now is the
now is the
time.
time.
He's gonna-
Are you? How did this happen? What's happening to the town?
I don't know. King Kron said we should come here and
King
King Kron, yes.
King Kong. Okay.
Who?
King Kron.
Kron.
Not Kong. Said we should come here because it's empty.
Who is King Kron?
The leader of our tribe.
Where is he?
Back where we live.
Oh,
Where do you live?
I don't remember.
Okay,
This rapier is very sharp.
you're gonna die.
Roll
Say
an
your last.
roll an intimidation check.
Sorry?
An intimidation
Oh,
check.
playing intimidation.
Advantage.
Ooh, natural 20.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
18
Wow, 18,
plus
Oh, okay.
yeah, that guy is peeing in his pants.
intimidation. 20.
It's the holy caves to the north. Where, you know, in the hills, south of the forest,
Take a
big
left turn.
caves. Very nice.
Okay,
Very friendly. The
your
sun
time
here.
is over now.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sorry. I'm gonna kill you. And
Okay, roll to hit. He's
You're gonna kill
definitely.
him, really?
You can try.
Why?
Do you have advantage?
No.
No.
If
He's
anything,
very
he gets
prepared.
Four.
Okay.
Plus 5, 9.
Plus 5, 9.
No, that's not a hit. He just ducked beneath you, and at this second, because this is going, he is disengaging, and he is gonna try and book it. And we're back into initiative order.
No! You should have died.
And you see, okay. Well, it's
Okay,
like
it's okay.
10,
Yeah.
15.
But you.
Don't kill him.
Oh wait, disengages, so they don't get.
Yeah, they don't
opportunities.
get attacks of opportunity. Okay, I don't want to move the or whatever. 25, 30.
By the way, last time same thing happened. I'm missing most of the fights. Just kidding.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, and you
Usually I follow stuff from.
at first
need
he
to
tries
stop
to
getting on
tries to run towards the let-down gate, but then as he sort of comes out and sees two women standing there, one crossbow in hand, the other her arcane focus, he sort of thinks better of it and starts running southward. He's still like here. He didn't get that far, but he is running for it. And it's Alwine's turn. But Alwine would tell you guys to take care of that. He's heading up the stairs to chow down on not chow down, but kill some sleeping goblins up there. I think he's gonna try and kill one this turn. natural 20. Yeah, I don't have to roll for that anymore.
Yeah,
They're just
sleep.
Yeah, that creature is very dead. Because okay, actually it's an instant crit automatically, so one of them's dead up here. Drifting Cloud, another death save, please.
9.
Stabilize?
9.
Oh, sorry, 6. So.
2 successes, 1 fail.
Yeah.
It's Kalla's turn. She is gonna aim her crossbow at his back, but that's a 4. So
No.
she fires wildly again. Apparently she's not quite as good as she claimed with crossbow.
Interesting.
Milo, he just ran away from you and he's trying to book it apparently. What are you gonna do about it?
I'm angry. I'm going after him. Is he in range?
He is just in range because he took a detour instead of running straight down. You can catch up to him.
And I want to kill him.
Go for it.
Because his time is over. For
If
sure.
you say so.
8 plus 5, 13.
Oh, 13 actually no, this is the one that had the shield. So actually in mid run
He dropped his weapons.
his fair enough, he dropped them. In that case you do hit roll damage.
Okay. So just the 8, right?
Yeah, just the 8.
5.
Plus
3, 8.
how does it look like when you kill this running goblin?
So I just stick my rapier into his neck.
From behind, from the
Yeah,
side?
because now he's running from me.
Mhm.
So I'm just, well, maybe a slash, I think. More like a slash right here through his
Okay.
neck.
And yeah, you see a spout of blood and then he just collapses into the floor in front of you and it seems a little quieter around here.
And I'm checking his.
That's
I'm
all
swearing.
you wanted. That's why
It
you
was
wanted.
I check pockets.
You
What?
actually find 2 silver and a single piece of gold. This one
Gold?
didn't look that
What?
bad.
Wow.
First goal of the game.
Nah, it wasn't the first one.
No.
No, I found a bunch of them.
Alright.
Yeah.
Should I roll my death save again? I guess we're not initiative now.
No, because Herman would be up before you are, so
Ah.
you'd probably.
Is it the same roll I have to make, plus 10 higher, or like? it's like
You can. Do you have a healer's kit on you?
no, I don't.
Okay, in that case, it's a medicine check.
Hmm.
Okay, medicine check.
Yes, and if you roll a 10 or higher, then he stabilizes. Yes.
I did, yeah, 15.
Okay, yeah, then you can stabilize Drifting Cloud.
All right, let's do that.
I start purring and snoring.
You'll be fine.
And I think the very hurt Alvine is gonna finish up these 3 creatures upstairs. I mean, he has so many rounds, I really shouldn't even roll to do this. He has like 6 rounds and there's 2 goblins left. There's no point to roll to kill sleeping goblins.
Short rest.
Oh, yeah.
But we should check out the house we just cleared.
The stable?
The stable, yes.
So actually, what's sort of right at the back of the stable is what probably the chomping noises were from. You see a couple of horses, 3 of them in total, that are still perched up, and they look very panicked, but they didn't exactly have a place to escape to. And there's a single horse that's obviously been, chewed upon a little bit. Doesn't have much of a neck left, but it's a nice pool of blood, if that counts.
I start resting first.
Yeah, you're still stabilized means you're still unconscious technically. So,
This
but
is
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah.
I'm resting.
Okay, so
Just let me know when I wake up.
so
when I can
let's
roll
go
that.
back. We just cleared the house. Let's just go all inside.
Yeah, let's,
Into the stable.
let's just which is the most
Closed up.
best building to barricade and like be safe in from all
Yeah.
the ones which we cleared? I think.
The one that's
Like,
most
Roll
intact.
me an investigate, just an intelligence check, I think.
natural one.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
So the safest place is probably the graveyard because you've heard stories that goblins hate graveyards. And they're deathly afraid of them. So that sounds like a great
That
place.
sounds very reasonable. I suggest we go to the graveyard and barricade ourselves there. The goblins obviously hate graveyards. Everyone knows that. That's the first thing they teach you in like.
Let's go to the
Let's go
stable. It's
inside.
closest to where Drifting Cloud is. We have to carry him, I assume.
Mhm.
Yes.
Let's go into the stable.
Is the stable intact except for that hole?
Yes,
Okay, let's go in there.
it does have 2 doors, but yes.
Who's carrying Drifting Cloud?
Old guy, maybe.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
I think worst case, Alvin is gonna come
I know, I'm just
over
curious.
and take care of that because
I wanna
other
know
people
how my
might not
dreams are
be-
being influenced.
Mhm.
I will come as well to help.
Yeah.
I think.
As you move him, you hear him mumble a bit in his sleep.
Not a tail, not a tail.
Okay, so you guys are trying to relax in, or as much as anyone can relax in this situation in the stable.
But we're searching the stable first. If so.
Okay, roll me an investigation check.
How long is a short rest for you?
1 hour.
I'm already in there, so.
This
Can't
is really
switch this
different
one.
for everyone.
Fine.
I have a DM that
Yes.
says 15 minutes.
Seven.
It's too short. but-
Seven.
Seven. So the stable, you do find 3 horses and 1 dead horse. Also, there's a lot of hay and some dead goblins upstairs. But other than that, not a whole lot.
Does the stables have a fireplace?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Does it have many windows? So I'm looking around.
No, not really.
So
It's
I cannot see outside. We cannot see outside if we're in the stable.
not very well unless you leave the doors open. It's basically closed off in most perspectives. There's a little bit of there's a slit between the end of the wall and the roof where it starts, and that lets in some light, and the hole in the roof.
It's a good hiding spot though. Nobody can see inside either.
Yeah, and if you want to hide up in the up in the hay together with that goblin corpse or with goblin corpses, then that's pretty good. Other than that, I'm not sure.
Okay.
By the way, I think this is a good point to confront Kella about the thing I saw. You saw it too, and she saw it as well.
What did you see? I'm not sure. Actually, I didn't see anything. What's going on?
So you should tell me.
Oh, yes.
Can we do a short rest first?
Kella obviously is hiding something. She has some sort of animal in her back. It's some sort of lizard, apparently.
Okay, I will look out.
Be careful, yes.
But maybe I will have pretty good fingers. Maybe I can fetch it. Bring it down, but
After the
we
rest.
should make a short rest.
Be careful,
Somebody
yeah.
use a finger.
We're 1 man down. It could be anything.
And Alvin is definitely going to mention that he's not feeling very well either. He's taken quite a beating.
Yeah.
He's not looking well either, and he doesn't have any hit. Did he get hit last time?
Should we maybe use one of the healing potions?
I think in his absence, I am
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
roll
You
a
can
hit
use
dice
a
for
hit
him.
dice.
I don't remember
Oh,
if
yeah,
I
that's
did.
true.
After the rest.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's save.
Plus.
But I do have a healer's kit.
That's just to stabilize.
That's just
Yep.
for stabilizing.
Oh,
But we don't need that.
No, the healing potion, we just keep it.
Yeah, we just
For,
keep it
it's
for-
good for in combat when you really need a quick.
Alright.
Stabilization.
Okay.
Do you have a hit dice left, or did you use yours last time?
Let me check if it's written.
Because if you have it, you can use it obviously, but other than that.
I'm not sure where this information.
We have. This is our first rest.
No,
no,
That's our
we
second
had
rest.
one in the tower.
Our second.
Yes.
I think I have it because I used the potion last time.
Are we short resting this?
I think everyone is. So you can use your hit dice.
Okay, I haven't used it. So it's.
That's plus your con mod.
Oh, okay. So I hit 6.
Okay, yeah. So I get 1 hit point just from the rest.
Yes, you
And then I can
definitely
use it
you come
again.
back to 1 if you do not have your hit dice.
But I don't know where it is, but I'm pretty sure I used the healing potion last time. So.
Okay, go for it.
Ooh, nice. That's another 6, so I'm at 7.
Excellent.
Do they come back on a long rest? The hit dice? Or is it-
Yeah,
you get
half of them. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Doesn't really. It's rounded up, so if you're level 1,
That's
so
fine. Yeah. Okay.
you'll get 1 back
Yeah.
for now. So you've sort of taken your rest in this very cozy, smelling like dead creatures stable.
And horse
But yeah, after that, what's your plan? Kala seems a little impatient, not entirely sure why we're in here. We could have gone up to the keep instead.
Can I quickly ask? I need to go to the restroom, so can I take the rest as well? Just right now.
Ah, okay.
Anytime.
Real one.
Anytime.
I thought you were in character.
This was
Like,
confusing.
Kelly's looking, why do you tell me this?
I'm sorry. That's fine.
I think we can continue. It shouldn't take long. So that's what she said. Why aren't we heading up for the keep?
Well, why didn't you suggest so? Which keep? Well, I did see the keep, but we don't know what is in the keep.
Yes, but wouldn't that be where most of the guards would be stationed? Shouldn't they be up there?
It could be also where most of the monsters are stationed.
But didn't you see the collapsed bridge to the keep?
Oh yes, that's another thing. How would we cross a collapsed bridge? I'm an old man, and these guys were just hurt now.
Can I do an insight check on when she's saying those things?
Mm-hmm, sure.
Just to see if. That's gonna be good.
What?
21.
Mm-hmm.
I have one as well. 'Cause I'm
Sure.
suspicious. 16.
Okay. So what are you trying to glean?
I'm just trying to see it because she sounds a bit like, oh, shouldn't we go there? She's like the reasons why she's saying we should go there. Are they actually the reasons, or is
Or is it a trap? I think it might be.
Is there more behind that?
It's hard to tell what her exact reasoning is, but you don't get the idea that she actually knows what's up there. It's more that she might have some ulterior motives as well, but she does seem intent on actually going there. Like she probably thinks it's a good idea for her and probably for everyone too. Sort of hard to judge there, but yeah.
Well, now that our party is fully recovered, more or less, we should maybe go there, right? That sounds reasonable, yes.
Yes, I think we would have gone there anyway.
And that's the last thing we haven't
That's fair.
looked at yet.
To be
For the
fair,
record, I will not go first anymore.
you haven't looked at a lot of smaller houses, but it's not like you're probably.
We could check inside the church too. We haven't.
Yes, you have checked.
Yeah,
we-
No, you really
We
didn't.
didn't check.
No, you really
didn't go
didn't
inside.
check the inside of the because that's when you heard the chowing noise.
Should we,
Yeah.
then
should we check inside the
I was
chapel?
peeking in, but then, yeah.
Yeah, then you
Yeah,
altered the
let's-
plan because of what because of the circumstances.
Okay, let's go loot the place. Check the chapel.
It's already been looted.
Maybe there's some gold. Let's
Okay.
go.
Can you actually? So this is not that. So you walk in, and the first room just seems rather looted. The big room with the pews and an altar, and well, it looks like the party went pretty rough in here because it's all tossed, and it's not exactly like this place would store a lot of valuables. And if they did so, it doesn't look like the goblin left many of them over. And you head into the back room, which is also when you hear some light snoring noises. And you sort of peek around the corner and you see one goblin lying in a pool of his own vomit, and another one sort of propped against the wall, also sleeping, both beneath the rope that seems to connect to the bell. There's also a bed in this room as well as a chest, and it looks like just general belongings that probably the priest owns that works here. So it looks like general living quarters along with a place to ring the bell, and obviously it's been tossed, it's been destroyed a little, and there are two sleeping goblins in here, sort of chilling, trying to see if they'll actually get to a hangover or if they won't.
Pretty sure they won't.
Maybe they'll be spared their hangover. That's nice.
Let's cure their head.
Should we interrogate them? Should we try to get them to answer something?
Well,
There you go.
what more information do we want? Because we got their headquarters now, so that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go to their.
Here.
But I do have a feeling.
I do have a feeling they are not the reason why all these people are missing.
No, not these goblins. It seems like it could have been emptied by some other thing that
Something else happened
King
here.
Kron ordered.
Yeah.
Or
I
nearby.
already told you. The stones fell and everyone fled. That's how it was emptied.
Well, I didn't know that.
Let's kill the
You
goblins. Let's just kill the goblins.
Alright.
I don't know. I feel like I want to kill because I'm like in a killing spree. I haven't done much killing yet, but
As long as
I assume I'm covered in blood as well.
You don't get any drones when you kill 3 in a row or
Okay.
anything like it. Just letting you know.
No.
Killing spree.
Exactly.
Combo.
Yeah, it's not really a lot of effort or trouble to dispose of sleeping, very drunk goblins. So you can definitely just pierce them once, pierce them twice, and they'll never even really move.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, but you can definitely do it. Okay, you've and it looks like basically the chest has already been picked through. There's still clothes left over from the priest, but most anything that was valuable in here, if there was much, was looted, it seems.
Could I just roll an investigation, see if I can see anything that was hidden intentionally, but that they
Roll an
missed?
investigation check.
That is 17.
Okay, 17. So you actually get the idea that, I don't know, this is a small settlement, maybe he stowed away something, right? So you sort of start moving the chest to see if there's maybe something in it a little further down. And as you do, you also sort of accidentally push it to the side a little bit. And as you look down, you do see that it seems like there's a single piece of wood in the floor that looks a little creaky, like it might be moved. And as you sort of take a little effort to move it, you do find what looks like a small pouch in there. And it's this time you collected the 3 holy symbols before. It looks like the same motif, but this one is made entirely out of gold from what it seems like. It doesn't, not sure if it's plated or not, and you do get a tingly feeling the second you lay your hands onto it.
Ah, so it's magical actually. Okay, so how would I call this? This is one symbol, or
This is a golden holy symbol, unicorn holy symbol.
So I want to get
I want to complete the
their
set.
priest clothes in there. Are they halfling sized or just way too big? Is there anything that I could use to? I don't know.
If you want to tailor them, yes.
Okay.
But other than that, he seems
Yeah,
to be
no. Then I think
at
it's
least
no.
human size.
Even that is no value to me. So
Okay.
as I'm just looking for gold, and I don't know.
Cool. What's up next?
Let's go
Don't-
to the keep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just while we do that, can I just do an arcana check to see if I detect anything, or if I recognize anything?
Sure. Go for it.
4.
Shiny.
Can we actually still see like the wagon which we came with? Can we? Is it like
You left it quite a bit behind, so it's and the old person driving it wasn't exactly the friendliest of people. You're not sure if he's still there, honestly.
Yeah.
You haven't checked in a while. It's been like 3 hours or something. So maybe he turned around. You know. You want to take a quick peek outside?
Yeah, can I just have a peek if he's like still hanging around?
Roll me a perception check.
That's 16.
Okay, so at first you look around and you look for where the cart stopped last, and wait, it's gone. And then you just go a little to the left, and you see that dude parked right next to the woods, and he lit the fireplace.
Oh my god.
He's seemingly settling down for a meal or something. He doesn't seem too bothered by you guys not having returned.
He's
I
having a
have a
roast.
good feeling about this guy.
He's having a roast. Rupert!
I haven't summoned him.
So we're going to the keep,
Exactly.
right? Let's go and check out the keep.
Yeah, let's go to the keep, yeah.
Let's go to the keep.
There's the last person. Actually, on that note, do we want to take a quick break, or
can.
I don't know? How long are we going today? That's the question mostly.
I can go as long as we want. Personally. Wow.
I can go
Yeah.
super late. I have a lecture tomorrow to give a lecture tomorrow.
So what
So
time?
what's approximately to get home at a reasonable time? Sorry?
Like 10:30 or 10. I don't know what we
That
did.
sounds good. I also have to get up pretty early tomorrow. So
Okay.
let's go till 10:30. Then let's take a quick break here, but not a too long one. Just works out somewhat. You have 2 spell slots, but you can basically
I see.
always use it at the start of combat if you see one particular foe, and you can also, if the first one dies, you can move it to the next target.
Oh, as an extra bonus action, or
extra
just when they
bonus-
die?
Another bonus action.
Okay, is that another spell?
No, it doesn't
okay.
cost anything. It's still, but that one is concentration.
Okay.
And
How
you
many-
probably know your spells, right?
Yeah, I do. Just thematically, so it kind of makes sense that I leveled up. How about I found a shiny stone or a crystal ball, sort of kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
because I can now kind of tell the future. Because that's I had to choose my school of magic,
Mm-hmm.
and I have now this thing that once every day.
Oh, you wanna?
I-
Actually, I know how we'll implement that before you get
Okay.
to the next
Alright.
stage, but that's fine.
All right. It's basically I can then roll 2d20s,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can.
I know Portent, that's
okay,
fine.
okay, okay. All right.
What's the name of it?
Porter, I think.
Portent.
Portent, sorry. Portent. Yeah. Portent. Yeah. Sure.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it's fun,
I love it.
especially if you don't roll really good.
It's great as long as you don't roll the middle, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah. If you roll really bad, then you can give it to the others.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Roll really well, give it to your friends. Yes.
Yeah.
Very
yeah.
nice. Also, do rangers get a fighting style maybe? But probably not.
And how often do you? How many times can you cast these spells? Just once?
One is the
No,
regular
one.
action, and then I have one that's a bonus
How
action.
many slots do you have?
But,
2 slots.
okay. And it's a short rest to get them back.
No, the rangers are long rest.
Oh.
You also get a fighting style.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
You know those?
I vaguely remember, but
Yeah. It's probably.
So no more spell.
They're up here. Before and
Oh,
I think defense or dueling probably makes the most sense with your weapons. If you want to use your battle axe, then
I'll say dueling.
okay, then you can just
I think.
add an additional. It's now +3. I just counted right in the weapon.
Oh, yeah.
Instead
Oh, yeah.
of 1d8 +1, it's 1d8 +3.
Although triple fighting is very nice because
Those
you
are
attack twice.
spells. I just have to.
You
I
can
just
already
got some
attack twice
magics.
technically if you use
This.
light
You
weapons.
get
Now
more
it's
damage.
on.
You get
These
more
are,
damage.
these are my cantrips. These are the ones
You
I
add
can
your-
cast
Yeah,
as much as I want.
to
These
fight
are
them,
like
then yeah, as
attacks.
well.
Yeah.
Okay.
These ones, if I
Sounds good.
cast
Oh,
them,
yeah, you
I
should
have
definitely
to-
attack twice.
So how do I attack twice?
You
Now
just do it.
actually,
If you
have one in each hand.
3 slots.
Oh,
It's just the
okay.
damage will be
You
lower on the
need
second
to
one.
have the
For the
appropriate
sleep.
weapons for it, basically.
So I have now
Okay.
2 more
You have
slots.
2 hand
These-
axes?
If I use
Um,
one of those, I have to cross
I think I
off.
only have
And
one hand
I
axe.
cannot use them.
How can you
But I
use
can-
slots?
Say that I have
Once
enough.
a day, I can hit the short rest.
I also really
can
don't
do
think
like
your equipment was
meditation,
put in
and then I
correctly
get.
by.
At the moment, I get one.
I tried putting it in D&D Beyond, but
yeah,
I
long
I
rest
think it
is
wasn't
all
chosen
that.
correctly because rangers usually
That's
get a lot
cool.
more stuff than
Long rest.
Okay.
or wielding.
I think this was pretty arbitrary. I don't know.
It'll be fine for now.
But
Should I give myself an extra hand
leveling
axe so I can do
Yes,
2
for
handed?
sure.
You get
Okay.
You can also choose the fighting
More-
style if you want to. Then it's then it makes a lot of sense.
To get new abilities, you get maybe more stats. It depends which level.
Okay. Oh yeah, that depends on your class.
So should I still do dueling if I'm gonna have 2 handed
Yeah,
weapons?
but I
Then
think
you should
level
probably
4
take
gets,
2 weapon
like,
fighting,
bigger
and then
feat
you
for
can
stats.
basically just attack twice, and it's the same
Okay.
roll
Three.
both times.
What does
Okay.
dueling do?
You get your special.
Dueling gives you an extra
Yeah.
+2
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
just wielding one weapon in your hand. +2 to damage.
Yeah, that's
But it's
that's-
basically
I already got it now.
How you keep
Okay.
up if
On
you're a
the
sword
race-
and board fighter
race doesn't matter
is
that much.
that's the way. Then
Yeah.
it's a decent chunk of damage.
Unless
Can I see your
maybe you have a
weapons?
homebrew one, or maybe
Yeah, I
you
have
access,
a
like,
hand axe
this
and a
race
battle
works
axe, and now
like
I
this
just
because
Okay.
So the way you would do it is once if
Maybe
you
make
hit
a race
with your second
like
attack, with your
crazy.
second hand axe,
You
you will not
actually,
add the
like,
plus
maybe
one.
if you want
Oh well,
to
you know,
play
you took the
dragon,
2 hand
like the red dragon,
Yes.
fighting. Then
Yeah,
you
then-
maybe you
You will.
cannot do all the things
Yeah.
that the red
Okay.
dragon can do.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So then at level 1 you say you cannot do that, and later levels you can actually do fire breath or something.
Okay.
Are we all leveled up?
Yes,
Mhm.
I think so. It should be fine by now.
Well, I'm a lot more useful now.
A lot of you are a lot more useful.
Yeah.
Level 2 is a great level.
And we don't get any proficiency, extra
No.
proficiency.
No extra
No,
proficiency.
that's way there.
Okay, so you guys are now walking up to the obviously destroyed bridge that leads up to the keep. And just to remind you, over here, not only is it a sizable gap, but it also you have to jump up to get to the higher piece, so it's not just flat,
Yeah.
which makes it quite a bit more difficult on top of it. So you're sort of standing there at the bottom.
And those, I don't know, you call them the things that are holding the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Pillars.
Yeah, probably
Yeah,
pillars or
columns or
something.
something.
columns.
Yeah, the columns or the pillars, yeah. Are pretty big.
They look. It looks like the parts that still stand
Okay.
or are reasonably well intact. You can roll me an investigation check if you'd like.
That's 9.
Well, they look like they'll hold.
I do have 2 more grappling hooks. Guys.
Yeah.
What you've been hoarding.
So I am the
Who can-
middle one, so I'm happy to jump over as long as I'm secured with a rope.
Mm. I agree. I should. Yeah.
But
I will hold.
let's make sure I'm secured so that if anything happens, I do not fall.
Well, how high are we actually?
It's a sizable drop. It's like 20 feet down to the surface of the water.
But we could also try to throw
Sure.
the hook.
Is there anything that could grab onto the
Well,
grappling hooks?
the end of it is destroyed, so it's a little hard because it's sort of a flat bridge, right? So you have to. It'll be hard to latch on, but you can certainly try.
Yeah, let's try first before you jump. Nobody gets hurt.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Who's the best thrower from us?
Don't be stupid.
What is it? Strength or athletics?
It would be. This would be Dex.
Yeah. Just
Oh.
it's a sleight of hand.
Okay.
I do
plus
have.
2.
I have good decks. I'm
Oh, yeah.
plus.
Yeah.
Oh, but you.
Well, I have plus 2 dex.
Well, you do
Yeah,
have 2
plus
grappling
3.
hooks, right?
Yeah.
So you can both try.
Yeah.
Okay, come on here.
Okay.
Well, everybody with a grappling hook tries. I try as well.
Okay.
See what happens.
Just straight plus Dex.
Just
Okay. Oh, 8.
Ooh, 21.
Mm.
16.
16. So the 3 of you more or less simultaneously throw out your hooks, and 2 of them land. One of them just you sort of pull it back in as it sort of didn't really catch, but a couple of them sort of catch between 2 or not board, but like if they're like masts or trunks of the tree that are sort of stacked one next to the other, sort of forming the bridge. They just manage to actually get right in there, and obviously you can now. If you sort of fasten the rope to the other side of the bridge, you can sort of climb over it that way and sort of hang onto the rope or try and rope walk if you want to. But yeah, you have the opportunity. It's definitely, it will be difficult to use if you're in a pinch, but for getting over there, it should be fine.
I'll just add that while we're starting to cross, actually our side of the bridge, is it stable? It seems quite stable, yeah?
Yeah, you assessed it earlier. It seems
I
stable.
was assessing the other side. Okay.
I thought you were assessing this side.
Okay, fine. I would say let's still attach ourselves to another rope and we secure these people as they go up, just in case the rope
Okay.
uh,
That was
gives out.
Yeah, I think I can go first. I'm pretty light.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who are the strongest here?
Alvine probably
Yeah.
raised his
I am
hand.
weak.
Anyone else?
I'm not
He's
strong.
-1.
Yeah.
I have
So plus 1.
-1.
Yeah.
-1.
Minus 1. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Alvin's gonna be the one who's
Holding the rope.
no, it's just supporting us as a
Mhm.
just in case, because
Yeah.
if we start falling, you need someone strong to.
Yeah, he'll definitely. Is anyone trying to help him, or is he gonna be?
We'll help him from the other side once we've all.
Okay.
Are we all using just one of the ropes, or are we trying to use both?
I mean, grab.
You have
The
from
grappling hooks, yeah.
you have from 2 grappling hooks attached to 2 ropes, so they're now sort of across.
Kind of makes a bridge, like you can hold on to the 2 of them.
You can hold on to the 2 of them, but it's probably easier to just hangle one if you want
Yeah.
Let's just do one at a time so that we're
Yeah.
sure.
to. Okay, who's going first?
Maybe
No,
you're.
I'm no longer going first.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm going first. I'm
Uh,
light. I'm the lightest here.
Roll me an acrobatics check with advantage.
With advantage.
You don't have to roll very high with the conditions you made, but. Was it the 1?
No, it was
A 3 and
Oh,
then now a 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
He walks on the
With
rope.
I have +7 in acrobatics.
Wow.
27?
Jesus.
He doesn't seem to really, need to hang down from it. He just takes a couple of steps across the rope, sort of runs across it, and Stands right there at the other side, looking back at you.
Alright.
So I'm now looking if the hooks
Mm-hmm.
are fit, and I'm trying to see
Okay.
if.
You're basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna make the DC even lower, but no, you don't have to roll for that. You're basically gonna be secure. You check them, and now they're definitely secured, so it's even easier to get across now.
I'll go next,
Cool.
if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm. Acrobatics with advantage.
10.
10. Holds fine. You kick them in fine, and the other side is well secured.
Okay.
It works fine.
So I start helping as well, and I think I'll attach myself to a rope and to the ground somehow to. Like I have another grappling hook.
Mhm.
We used to have another grappling hook, so I would attach another grappling hook and onto me, just in case somebody falls and I need to dive to grab someone.
Okay, sure.
Alright.
Good thinking.
Alright, I'll go next then.
Go for it.
You can do this. As long as I don't have to run, right? I mean, actually, I rolled 16.
Yeah,
With advantage
Oh, yeah.
from the rope.
Yeah.
16. That's what I rolled now.
You know, for an old man, he is surprisingly agile.
I am. Just not at running.
I think next we'll send Kella over. It's cocked. Okay, no, she also makes it across fine. And actually, as she sort of hangs sort of upside down, trying to, you definitely see it again. And this time, it doesn't look like there are any legs. So
Okay,
you probably say it's a snake, yeah.
Okay.
Freaking
How big?
snake
Like-
person.
Or an eel.
Like
Or
a
tentacle.
snake.
Yeah.
Okay, so like an eel-sized snake.
Could it be a tail?
It's,
Around?
it's,
I like
it's
snakes.
pretty decent size. It's not very wide or
Okay.
thick, but it's.
Could it be a tail that she's hiding?
She must be a mom.
Could it be
Could
a
it a tail that she's hiding?
Roll me a perception check.
15 plus 3, 18.
18. You get that impression at first, but then when you look closer, you get the idea that it has to be a very long tail and it sort of has to curve really weirdly. So you probably figure, unlikely.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go next.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So acrobatics. Hopefully not that one. Yeah, that's better. 19.
Yeah, easy enough to get across. And Alvine also makes it across easily. He actually, instead of sort of going for the rope, you see him take a couple of steps back and he actually just leaps the distance onto the other side. It looks like he's comfortable with his jumping strength.
I'll go now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, I thought he had already gone.
Oh, no.
He would have gone last, that's why. Go ahead.
Acrobatics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or.
Oh, what the hell was that?
Oh, 9.
9, you still make it
Oh,
across.
wow.
You sort of have a second there where you're hanging across in the middle and you feel like it's letting go, and that's when you probably put a foot down onto whatever's holding it. And
Thanks.
it holds steady.
Thanks,
You
everyone.
manage just to get across.
Can I reclaim the grappling hooks?
Yeah, you can definitely take them both. That way no one can follow you up here.
Might be most usable.
But you'll
Like
have to
useful
also
thing.
establish something to get downstairs again. Okay.
We can take at least. I'm at least taking one.
Yeah.
I'm taking 2. Sorry, guys.
I think
That's value.
I think you need to.
Minimum.
We can throw again.
It looks cool on you if you like half the way.
There will be a
It's
scene.
reference.
I actually have the backpack.
Oh,
So
okay.
just, I don't know. It's a big mess. I don't care about if it is stored neatly.
You have-
It just have to be with me.
You have a vision of the future where he's falling to his death and he just puts one and another one and he's stuck between 2 buildings like this. Told you I needed 2.
So guys, let's be careful for the console.
Yes.
I have my weapon out. That's my weapon.
Are you trying to be stealthy or are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And
We
it's
don't
really
have-
high on alert.
Mhm.
Somebody has to watch the blonde girl. The
Kill.
Killa lady.
She answers, okay.
No, but
Don't worry. I'm
who's
being
watching
back.
Kayla?
Everybody.
We're all watching her.
But
Sure,
I want
she's
to.
freaking.
Somebody has to watch for other enemies.
Maybe I
Okay, the
can
paladin.
summon Rupert and he can watch her.
Should probably appreciate that part. Yeah.
She's like trying to walk around.
Okay. So everyone roll me a stealth check, please, if you're planning trying to be stealthy.
18.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
19.
Weird good stuff for
11.
9.
12.
7 for him, no, 6 for him, and 14 for her. Yeah, that's more successes than fails. That should be fine, or so you presume. So you head up to the key to basically. I should adjust the camera. That would be a good idea.
See the key.
Come on. Isn't it moving?
Let's keep in mind that maybe the citizens and guards are here, not goblins. That's not
Yeah.
Oh, fine.
Something maybe far dangerous than the goblins might be there.
Everything is possible.
No.
Maybe we should have left one of the ropes just attached to the other side.
Whoops.
What is your fortune telling with kids?
I'm sorry.
So you
I'm new at this.
So you walk up to what looks like the gate of this, or the gate of the entire, basically key of the entire keep, and it doesn't look like it's, it's a heavy gate, but it doesn't look like it's locked. And you sort of, after a couple of seconds of deliberation, you push it open, and what you quickly see is that this part of Nightstone has been bombarded the heaviest. It looks like the most rocks fell down onto the keep. There are a lot of them strewn about in what looks like the inner courtyard here. And you get the idea that exactly to your right in front of you, there's a big double door that's still closed. But you do also see that to your right, basically over here, there seems to be. Does it ping? Is it pinging? It's not pinging. Okay, here.
I got a message from work.
Okay.
I have to respond to something for a couple minutes.
Yeah, sure, no problem. As you sort of look over there, you do see that a very sizable rock seemingly collapsed that part of the entire keep. And so there's sort of a rubble hill that's open, and you get the idea that you could also enter through there. And from what you remember from when you came, you also definitely remember that the place that was destroyed the most was the back right side, so the southern eastern side. So you could probably also enter that way. You can enter through the door, through the rubble hill on the right hand side, or maybe flank around the entire keep to try and get a peek at what's inside. This doesn't demonstrate what's inside.
Can I check the door? What kind of door is it? Does it have a lock?
It's a big double door, and it does look like there's a keyhole, a sizable keyhole, but are you simply going to try and check if it's open?
I'm just looking from
afar?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
And-
looks like a big double door that can swing open that probably can also be barricaded in more than one way. It also has a keyhole, a very sizable one that connects the two doors in the middle. But other than that, you're not entirely sure what kind of security precautions might have been taken or can be taken around
And
here.
the door is closed, right?
It's close, yeah.
May I perceive? If I hear anything. What is it?
Sure, go ahead.
20.
20. You sort of give it a listen, and at first you don't hear anything in particular, but after a little while, sort of a couple of seconds of really listening intently, you get the idea that you think you can hear a couple of people whispering or talking quietly. It's very hard to tell what they're talking about from the sound of it, but it does sound vaguely like common.
Common.
You get the idea it was probably common. Yeah.
And whispering, you say.
Man,
Whispering or talking quietly, it's not exactly.
Where does it come from, you said?
It's hard to tell. Somewhere behind the doors, but
Okay.
definitely from the inside of the keep.
I say, listen. Business. Let's go. Let's get good. They could be guards. Let's not frighten them, but there could be something else, so let's approach carefully.
Can we?
As you sort of walk closer to the door, and you basically have to walk around one of the rock right there in front, you do see that, well, a couple of legs are sticking out towards the backside, that someone seemed to have been caught in mid-run for whatever place. You definitely see the second corpse of a humanoid you found in Nightstone.
Can I inspect the body?
Mm-hmm.
Just see
You
what
can-
kind of.
Mm-hmm. And what are you trying to?
I want to see if it is a guard. Like, what kind of person was this? And
Okay, that's very easy to
Okay.
glean from the armor he still seems to be wearing and down at his legs, and the colors. You get the idea that yes, this person was probably a guard. There's also a weapon a little to the side, a single spear, so you get the idea that yeah, this was very likely a guard.
Did he have a key on him?
Roll me an investigation check to see if you can sort of scramble out something that isn't buried beneath the rock.
And as we got closer, can I tell a bit more?
Eight.
Can I hear the sound, the whispers better?
An 8. Yes, you can. It does get actually by now, as you're sort of coming a little closer, you get the idea that maybe it isn't whispering. Maybe it's just the isolation of the stone walls. Maybe they're just talking, not loudly, but more or less normally in there. You sort of search whatever you can reach of his pockets, and you get the idea that his pockets, you do actually find a couple of silver, 4 of them, but maybe he had some keys hanging at his belt, but that part's buried. So
I look at Alvin and say, Alvin, can you help me with this boulder here? Maybe there is something underneath this guard.
If there are
If there are keys under this boulder, I don't think they will open any doors.
Alright.
We're still on the outside of the door.
no. Basically,
Where
where
are
you'd
we?
be right now is somewhere along these lines.
And the noise is coming from.
The noise is coming from somewhere inside, let's say like a little to your left from your perspective, but behind the door for certain.
Okay,
The
that's
door
what
would be
works.
right here.
Okay, and can I tell if they're goblins or if they're more human-like?
It still sounds like common, and it doesn't sound like a squeaky high-pitched voice, so you haven't heard too many goblins yet, but so far at least the one had a very squeaky voice, so
Yeah,
maybe they all
goblins.
have
I
one.
speak goblin actually. I would be able to.
Oh, so in that case, definitely not goblin.
Okay, good.
So I want
Just
to
go.
peek through the keyhole,
Mm-hmm.
but very stealthy, not making
You're-
any
you're-
noise.
You're still being very quiet, yes. You're
And I'm
still.
looking through the
Mhm.
keyhole. What do I see?
It's
An
really
arrow
only a perception
Oh, God.
check.
piercing your eye.
Oh my god.
15 plus
Sting sensation.
2, 17.
17. So you sort of peek through, and at first it's really hard to see what's inside. But then the angle is a little weird, but you can definitely see that there's a very big table sort of in the middle of the room that you can see from here, and it looks like there's something on it, but it's hard to tell what exactly. You also definitely hear what sounds like a conversation where through the keyhole you get the impression that they're sort of discussing what to do. And you can hear at least 3 distinct noises, but hard to tell how many are in there that maybe aren't talking.
Okay. I think
While
I
he's
tell.
doing that, can I just? I really want to do this. Sorry. So as he's doing this, I'm just coming close and just dum 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 at the
Oh
door.
my
You certainly can.
I'm like,
Is there anyone alive? We've come to help.
this way.
Hello?
Some people are alive, thank goodness.
Who's outside?
We are travelers who have come to Nightstone to deliver a package, and we found the ruins, this town in ruin, and a lot of goblins.
Yes, lots of goblins. What about them? Did they leave yet?
Well, they're dead, so they're taken care of.
You're welcome.
You hear a couple of seconds silence before you hear a bar apparently lift behind the doors. You hear a lock open, and the next second the door swings open. What you see are 4 guards, 2 male, 2 female, and they all look like they've had a rough couple of days. All of them look like they haven't slept in quite a while. They're all white. Most of them actually have injuries of some sort, scratches, so they probably caught some of the rubble even if they weren't buried beneath it. They don't look like they're very well off. They look a little injured. And you also see that one of them basically has more or less her entire head, apart from one eye, covered in bandages. She doesn't look particularly well off, and you sort of get the idea that she's a little wonky. But she's the one who starts speaking right after the door opens.
We see a bit of hierarchy among them, or they seem to be all the same.
Do you have any experience with hierarchy among guards?
I've probably been in trouble with quite a few.
In that case, you probably get an idea of identification here. You get an idea that actually the person standing in the back, a rather tall person with long black hair tied back and a black beard, that's a little too long maybe, a rather sharp face, he's probably the person in charge. But there must be a reason, because she also looks like, from her signature, she's definitely at least oversees a couple of guards. And there must be a reason why she's the one addressing you in the first place. And she sort of starts, you just happened to come by chance?
Oh, not by chance. We were sent here by Pierrot. Pierrot.
Lord
Pierrot.
Antios.
Yes, he asked us to deliver a package here
Have
for his fiancée.
Have you seen him down in Nightstone?
No, he's
Yes.
not there.
He's not there?
No.
No, in fact, we haven't seen him since a few days when we left.
Since we left, which time did we leave?
What happened here?
Well, other people don't believe me, but I swear I saw a castle in the clouds. There was a single gigantic cloud with a castle that looked like it was made entirely from silver, and then the rocks started tumbling. And from the back you hear a deeper voice.
Oh no.
She was hit on the head by a stone that came tumbling down. Do not pay too much attention to her delusions.
I would assume
I'm
she'd be-
sure this is magic of some kind, but castle in the clouds, over Nightstone. Let's be reasonable.
So,
Also, we do have a bit of a situation here, and he sort of takes a step to the side, and you now get an impression of what was lying on that table, and it looks like a very well-dressed lady that has been entirely crushed on her left side.
Is that the fiancée?
who is that lady?
That is the Lady of Nightstone, Lady Nandar.
Ooh.
Ah,
Is she still alive?
No,
crushed.
we had to get her out of the rubble, sort of barred her up for now, but it took quite a few hours of work to get her out from where she was buried.
So,
That is very troubling news.
what have you been doing for the last day?
We've been cleaning up. Also, we can't exactly get down, because if we go down, getting down isn't the issue, but coming back up is. And we do not want to leave the most defendable place in Nightstone unguarded, especially since the people should be returning soon.
Where is
From where?
everyone?
There's basically there's an escape plan for some kind of trouble, though this certainly wasn't expected. The Dripping Caves to the north, they're like 1.5 hours by foot. They are decently well secured place that we can seek shelter in. It hasn't happened so far, but it was always the plan. So I think the guards probably evacuated all of the townsfolk that made it out into that direction. Did you see many corpses?
To the north, you said.
Yes.
I think that is also where the goblins live, you know.
Well, they live in the forest.
I have no idea where these goblins came from.
I'm sure the guard would take care of those goblins.
They said the holy caves.
In the north, yes.
And to answer your question, we have not seen many corpses.
Yeah,
Right,
we
didn't,
didn't
right?
see any
In fact, we
corpses.
saw none. Really.
Just dead
Only
goblins.
dead goblins, and now
No
3
corpses.
more dead works.
Well,
Very nice.
to
Can-
be specific, they were not dead when we showed up.
Okay. Can we help you with anything?
Well, there are a lot of things we need to be taken care of, but step by step, right? If you've already secured Nightstone, then that's a great first step. I think we really need to establish control back over everything. Maybe pull up the drawbridge might be a good idea just in case. And well, if you haven't found the corpses of Lady Featherstone and Lord Anteos, then they probably went to the cave along with the guards and the civilians, and it worries me that they haven't returned yet.
Lady
So-
Featherstone was the fiancée of Pierrot.
Yes.
Ah,
I thought the one that was dead there.
Yeah.
can I ask you something? Do you know this woman? We found her in the inn.
Are you actually holding her like this?
Yeah.
What?
I'm putting her in front.
Leave me be.
We don't know you.
I don't know you, yes.
Yeah, but maybe
I'm-
they do.
I'm here at random, just like I just arrived in town a couple of days ago in the inn.
You're holding something back.
What? I fought along your side. What would I be holding back?
But I asked them if they know the lady.
They shake their heads.
Milo, let me ask you something. When you meet someone, do you tell them all their life story?
Yeah, I do.
It
Well,
seems
you're-
very unfair. You
Maybe
just,
it's made up,
you just
but I
met
do.
the dwarf too, and you seem very friendly towards him. Yet,
But you know, halflings, dwarves, we're one of a kind.
That's
we know
true.
each other. We talk from the heart. I would never lie to you.
Likewise.
In fairness, he did not start the conversation with a lie. But we are all entitled to our secrets. If you want to keep that snake of yours in the back, we do not mind. I do not mind.
roll me a general charisma check.
That was nice.
Oh,
That was
uh-huh.
nice. Come on.
Let's see. Charisma. That's 13.
You definitely see. At first, she seemingly holds it back for a second, but then you definitely see her turn red.
Red. As
Not
in,
bright red, but like she definitely flushes for a
Okay.
second, and then
so not anger, more like.
oh shit. But
But I try to be very reassuring about it. Like I absolutely have no issue with this, and like
We're all entitled to our private life.
You have a skin condition in your face.
They're so mean.
Come on.
Oh, but she blushes.
Maybe you need some health potion.
this is just a friendly messenger pet that I use. I got it from a friend,
You do not need to explain yourself, my dear.
and she sort of grabs
Oh.
and picks up what looks like a decently sized snake that has wings on its side, and it's sort of fold around itself, and it sort of flutters. And Milo, you immediately recognize this creature. So there's a very big criminal organization along the Sword Coast. They go by the name of the Centarim.
Sorry?
They go by the name of the Centarim, Zhen Tarim, and basically, well, the symbol they use is a flying snake, so the association isn't very far for you that this would probably be somewhat connected, or at least there's a chance her friend who gave her this is connected to the centering. You yourself have had a bad run-in or two with them, so you're probably a little aware of this.
Okay.
No wonder you're
But she doesn't know me at all, or
She didn't.
I haven't seen her in person.
No,
Just
you
I know-
definitely haven't
okay,
seen her before in
okay.
person.
Or
You
I
would've-
don't,
no,
not something comes up like.
no, you would have definitely recognized her in that
Like
case.
it.
No, it's just you recognize since she takes out the snake. This has. It's very likely that there's some connection.
Okay. I just keep that to myself
Mhm.
because I'm scared,
Yeah.
as always.
Yeah.
I
First.
I half expected him to like, oh, she's from this.
No, it was.
It's
Okay.
entirely harmless and is just a messenger. But I know what kind of looks it gathers, which is why I usually keep it stowed away.
Well, I find it very cute.
What kind of messages
Nice
do
try to
you? How does it work? The snake. How do you carry a message to a snake that flies?
You just tie a little piece of paper to it, and then
Like a
it
messenger
only
pigeon.
knows a couple of places. Yeah, it's more or less along those lines, but they're much faster and they can take care of themselves, so they're not as defenseless as a pigeon is. So
Do you think you could help try and send a message to those caves? Where the citizens have escaped, potentially we could hear back from.
mostly they're trained for sending messages to cities. That's what they're usually used for.
What's
So-
your gauge, maybe?
Or places they know.
They, I can't exactly communicate with him. He just, I have a couple of key words that I know to use depending on where I want to send him, but it's very specific. It's not that intelligent, but it's cute.
Mm-hmm.
It is good.
Agreed.
May I pet it?
Feel
It doesn't
free.
bite.
Not if you're careful.
What's my animal?
+2. I'll try. Do I don't need to roll for this?
No, you do not need to roll with.
I want to roll for it just because I want to get a small
Go for
card
it.
just in case. No, it's fine.
Yeah, it's not exactly like the cuddliest of creatures, but it doesn't mind being touched from what it seems. It's not like it enjoys it particularly. But.
So you cannot get us help through your snake,
Well,
or you're not willing to.
it can fly to, to Waterdeep or to Daggerford, which are the two closest cities. If you'd like that, it's just I don't know. We can certainly try. It'll take a while for reinforcements to arrive either way. I mean, the road is a couple of days here, and it'll fly there for probably a day as well.
We probably should. We were tasked to deliver this painting to the woman, and she seems to be in the caves now. If we want to get paid, that's where we need to go, I believe.
We need to find her.
That makes sense.
We should find out whether he is alive. Otherwise, this mission just lost its purpose.
Indeed.
So let's find out where our contractor is.
You brought the materials that he was looking for, the painting supplies and the art.
Who's talking?
The guard.
Okay.
What do you mean
That's
by
right.
art?
I know exactly.
It's
Have you seen some of the things he draws?
Did we actually see the painting?
Yes, you actually uncovered it, and it
Yes.
wasn't that bad.
Yes.
Was it lewd?
No, it wasn't lewd either. It was pretty straightforward.
Okay.
So I'm not entirely sure why he's.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So what does he need the painting for? Do you
I
know?
think he wanted to use it. He just said it was very important that Lady Featherstone got a chance to take a look at it. I'm not entirely certain what some people are up to. Lady Nandar was a woman of class, but can't exactly. Never mind.
Well, we would like to head to those caves. Would you like us to deliver a message, perhaps?
Looking at the time, are you sure it's... I would really appreciate if you could help us secure Nightstone first. I'm not entirely certain what exactly needs to be done, apart from definitely we'll need to repair the bridge and take up the drawbridge. I haven't an idea of what the damages look like, but if there are a lot of goblin corpses, we should clean them out before they spread anything in here.
Maybe there are still some goblins.
And the same for the war corpses. How many of those did you say there were?
3
At least.
Yeah, that we know.
that we took out.
Yes.
Is it almost nighttime or what is it actually?
It's like 4 p.m. right now.
Okay.
So
And how far are the caves? How long
An
would
hour
it take
and
us to drive?
we'll have 1.5 to 2 hours.
Oh, it's quite close. Okay.
Yes.
Then I suppose it's better if we go in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
We could still make it, I suppose, but
But how long would it take us to make the castle safe again? It's more.
It depends entirely on how it actually looks down in Nightstone itself.
It's a mess.
Have you?
I mean, we do not need to clean up every last bit of it. There's no, we won't be moving those stones without some significant help, and there's no point in repairing any buildings that no one is currently trying to stay in. I'm just looking to basically give this a once over, so we're sure there aren't any holes in the walls that more goblins might be coming through, that kind of deal.
But what need is if we take care of this totally destroyed town? It's just the castle that has to be safe for the people if they come back.
well, they want to live here. This is their home.
I don't think you have seen the entirety of the castle. Much of it is in shambles as well. It's mostly the outer wall, the outer perimeter of the keep that's going to be protecting, but it's not the best place for all of these people to stay in at the moment.
But how can possibly 5, 6, 10 people rebuild this town? Or
I'm not saying rebuild. I'm
No.
saying we try and make a quick fix for the bridge that we can walk over afterwards, so that's secure. And then we check that there are no more goblins hiding in any cubby holes.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Yes.
Let's help these poor people right now.
Yes. Make sure we don't get more
You can-
enemies.
You can simply repair the bridge if you want, and we'll take care of cleaning through the
I
city.
want to have a look around. That doesn't hurt.
At least the night, or should we spend another day?
Roll me a quick deception check, please.
This whole afternoon, and the
Yeah.
most important
Oh
thing.
no.
At least, yeah.
That'll make me another
8.
What did you
He
do?
sort of gives you a quick, but then doesn't apparently think much more of it. He just mentioned that he'd like to have a look around and sort of couldn't suppress the sly grin that went along with that sentence.
Sorry, what was the last name of the hero?
Antios.
Antios. Doesn't sound French. Okay.
Okay, so let's help these people.
He's lord of this keep?
No.
That's-
Nightstone? No.
No, he's not. Basically, Lady Nandar was the lady of this keep, or the current ruler of Nightstone, so to speak. Antios or Piron is from Waterdeep, and Antios is one of the bigger noble families in Waterdeep.
So who will succeed to the throne of
Lady Nandar didn't exactly have any children left over. Most likely, the lords of Waterdeep will have to settle that score. It depends, but for now, if we could get some noble authority back, that would be fine.
Yes.
If either Lady Featherstone or Lord Antios make it back, that will work for the meanwhile, I think.
So do we agree to help these
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
for the rest of the afternoon?
Yes.
Could we have shelter for the night so that we can depart in
Of
the
course, for your help, certainly.
morning? Thank you.
So let's fix the bridge first.
Yeah.
Mhm. How are you planning on fixing this bridge?
By following instructions given by the guards.
You must have some supplies in
Do you
your.
have tools,
In your-
maybe? Some
Yes,
some-
that's what normally is.
some wooden boards, maybe, or
We could repurpose a door. That's still-
ladders, or like.
There's actually a single rather large ladder that leads from former Lord Nandar's not resting place, but more or less what you'd out of character call a man cave, up into the library of Lady Nandar. And you could use that, and the library has a lot of bookshelves that maybe might be repurposed for that as well. But I do ask you to not. Lady Nandar has some rather strict security measures set upon in her room, which is upstairs in her basically wing upstairs.
Interesting. She looks at him and she's saying this.
No, it's him, and he's not exactly just looking at anyone.
I can totally understand that privacy is first priority for a lord.
All of the other parts are easily accessible, and I think we'll find more than enough to clean this up. But obviously, that's part of the succession that belongs to whoever is going to take care of Nightstone next.
Yeah, I think I'm the most trustworthy of our company. Maybe I can go up in the library and have a look what we can use there.
I'm happy to
Roll a
give you a hand.
persuasion check.
I'm happy to give you a hand as well.
I feel like I should go to the
15
library.
plus persuasion
Bookworms.
plus 6,
Plus
21.
So I think he actually notices the way you are dressed and gets the idea that you're probably also at least from a decent part of the social ladder. So he sort of nods respectfully. Like I said, the library and all that, go ahead. It's just the quarters are closed off. They're not in the same way.
Yeah. Maybe we can reuse some of these shelves. Maybe the boards. We can just toss the books away, which are not really necessary. Maybe just reuse the shelves as boards to rebuild some of that bridge.
So he allowed me to go into the library.
Yeah, into the library. for
Okay.
sure. He
Different way.
basically recognized your fictive authority.
Okay.
Sure.
So we can go in there, or
Yeah, all of you can go in there if
okay.
you want to.
Okay.
I want to check for like interesting books and
Yeah.
see if there
Me
is.
too.
Roll me an investigation.
Yeah.
check.
Can I also do this?
I suppose I'll help.
I'm also looking.
17.
Okay. I'm also looking for
Mhm.
something.
13.
20
Natural
natural.
20.
Oh.
Sorry, what was yours?
17.
We
Okay.
find all the books.
Here's a lot
What's
of
yours?
books.
I'm not looking for books.
What's your plus to investigation?
Investigation plus 2, 22.
22 and
15.
15. Okay. So what exactly? You're looking for interesting books.
Yeah, for interesting books, magical books,
Mhm.
mystical books,
What are other people looking for?
valuable books.
I'm actually asking
Mara, what would you like me to look for?
Oh, okay. Yeah, some interesting artifact type books, some good information for warlocks.
Oh, I found this one. It says The Secrets of Fishing.
I'll take it.
Volume 2.
Okay. So.
I'm looking for
Mhm.
value stuff, gold kind.
Mhm.
Maybe a weapon with range,
Mhm.
because
in the library.
You never know.
I have
Put it on the
22.
wall.
Would you like a dart?
So actually, the way to the library is up either the stairs or through the room that apparently. Now that you get into the room that seemingly belonged to the previous Lord Nandar before he died whenever ago, or you don't know basically, you get the idea this was what you'd expect a hunting trophy room to look like. So there are quite a few very, if not very functional, then still very stylish and well decorated looking weapons along the walls. There are a lot of trophies of animals you haven't seen before. Among them, something that looks like an owl head but it's the size of a moose, basically. Like a gigantic owl head that's sort of propped against the wall. Doesn't really make much sense with
Yeah, Albert.
what exactly that creature's behind. He'd probably have a decent guess at what that might be.
I will start investigating all of the animals that I see along the wall. So,
Nature, no?
would that be survival or nature?
Nature.
Okay, 17.
17, yeah, you definitely immediately recognize the owl bear. You also see a little higher up what looks like a normal, basically a normal deer head. You recognize it to be one that isn't exactly a deer but a periton, which are very vicious creatures that can also fly. It's also one of those experiments wizards went a little overboard with, where they combined birds with horses, but very angry birds. And no, birds with deers, and then very angry birds, and you can see just from the teeth, because it doesn't have the teeth of a creature that actually eats plants, looks like. And there's a lot of all of the standard stuff is also up there, but you get the idea that those trophies, they're probably worth quite a bit of money per se. And also a couple of the weapons that are hanging alongside the wall.
Is there a crossbow?
Uh,
Short crossbow. I'm looking for
Like a bucket list.
hand crossbow.
Go
No.
for a heavy crossbow whenever you can.
There is a heavy
Those are good.
crossbow that is sort of looks like it's very well decorated, very well made, and hung exemplary along the wall, but you don't see anything smaller. You see a couple of longbows as well that are sort of strapped to the wall. They all look of exquisite made, but most of the weapons in here are shields that bear the symbol of the Nandar family, a star against a black background. And other than that, there are a couple of long swords and the like that are also currently hanging about, all fine in making. You're not entirely sure if they're just ceremony weapons or if they can be used properly, but yeah.
So can I investigate the crossbow? If I can take it, is it easy? Can I take it from the
Well,
wall?
it just hangs against the
Okay.
wall. Yeah, it's very well propped up, but it doesn't. You can take it.
Actually start gathering wood.
Huh?
Yeah. So while you're searching the library upstairs, you do come across. Mostly it's just books, and you see that they had very elaborate collections of lots of different encyclopedias. Also, you probably recognize a couple of them because it's not just simple encyclopedias, but it's like the golded and gilded version of them, and sets of these are worth quite a bit of money. That much you certainly know.
Okay.
So that might pique your interest a little. What definitely piques your interest is that a little to the side there seems to be like a couple of scrolls sort of set into the wall, and you sort of take a couple of them out. Some of them seem to just be letters, but there are two spells among them that you immediately recognize as spells that you might be able to add into your book.
Okay, nice.
And the first one is a spell of grease.
Oh, I already know that one, but that maybe it's good that I know it now. Because I just learned it.
You can also use a spell scroll, and then it doesn't expand the spell slot, so that might be a valuable application of it as well.
Spell what?
Grease.
Slippery.
Like it sprays sort of like this
Oil along the
oil
floor.
and then
Okay, so nothing
slippery. Yeah.
And the second one is color spray.
Oh, okay.
They repainted a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and that's what they use the spell for. Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Makes
Who
sense.
knows?
that's the easiest way to paint houses in D&D.
That's right.
You need to use it.
If you want them very colorful, then yes, then it's definitely the easiest way.
Do I find anything with my 15?
You were also sort of looking for books for her, so
Yeah.
I think you were probably along the same side up there, also finding those kinds of books. What does maybe pique your interest is a book that looks like its backside is written in a series of letters that you don't exactly understand, but they look very, very outlandish. And so as you sort of take it out, you get an idea. Well, the cover is a gaping maw, which is creepy in and of itself, also set entirely in silver and gold. So this book looks to be quite old, also very beautifully decorated and probably valuable, but also just fucking weird.
I'm very intrigued.
So,
Very.
Mana, come take a look.
I think it's
Can I
really
do a-
interesting, and I'm gonna.
What languages do you speak?
Elvish,
Yeah.
Goblin, Common, I think that's it.
Yeah, common Elvish halfling.
Okay,
Speak
you
Draconic.
Wait, you,
and Draconic?
did you say Elvish, Goblin, and Common as well?
No, halfling was the other.
Oh, okay. I thought we were speaking.
It's in neither of those languages.
Okay. But I'm very
But
interested.
as a dwarf, you would definitely recognize that
Dwarvish.
the symbols that are used in it seem vaguely related to the dwarven language, though it's sort of like when you find a Swiss German text, but you only know High German. It's like, yeah, I know what these letters mean, but the entire words don't make a lot of sense to me. It's sort of like that.
Okay, I'm very.
At level 2, you got your 2 invocations, right?
Yeah.
You didn't pick the one that makes you
No.
read everything, right?
No.
Darn.
I mean, I did note it.
Can I
Next
have a
time.
look at it? You just studied something?
Ask Mara.
Mara, what did you find?
This book seems like it has some very old, perhaps
Can I
dwarvish
try to
language.
give it as much insight as I can, or is it just
Mhm.
totally?
You can
So,
roll me a straight intelligence check. Intelligence.
19
Oh.
plus 0.
19, okay. And what's
I
your...
I know primordial, maybe.
maybe.
Mhm.
And dwarfish, elfish, and I have this sage background. I read a lot of books in my life.
Can you also roll me an intelligence? You can actually roll me an arcana check.
An arcana. I can do that. It's +5. So 15.
15?
Yes.
So with your rolls, you quickly, just from sort of gleaming the first couple of pages and sort of looking over them, the two of you together evaluate that this, you'd probably call it a very bad fairy tale in any other world, but in this world, these kinds of stories usually tend to be true and tend to feature creatures or horrible aberrations of one kind or another. You do not recognize the language entirely or get a complete feel for what it is, but you do get an idea that this book holds a lot of stories about some untold horrors from far beneath the surface. And you would probably have an idea that not back at the library where you came from, but back down in Candlekeep, which is like half the way between here and Baldur's Gate, there's an expert you used to have some written contact with that would probably speak this language and actually know a little more about this part of the world that you.
I might know someone that could decipher this and would know some things about this book. It's
Very interesting.
yes.
I'm gonna take it with me.
Also, with your expertise for finding things, you do get the impression that this book is worth at least 100 gold to the right person, probably way more.
Okay.
And I was about to say, I'll keep half of whatever we sell this.
Seems
So I'm still investigating. I don't care about books.
Um,
Books.
Like I said, you find a lot of different weapons and potential trophies that you could pick from. There's also very nice rugs and carpets, and all of the furniture is very well made, but I'm not entirely sure you have the physique to carry it out of here or the time and...
Okay, so I decide for the crossbow to take it with me.
Yeah, you can take the heavy crossbow. It looks very well.
Heavy crossbow.
Oh, it's a heavy one.
It's a heavy one.
Nice.
Can I carry that?
They pack a punch.
So I have proficiency with hand crossbow.
I think you're probably not going to be proficient with a heavy crossbow, which means you would only be attacking with dex, and heavy crossbows are also heavy weapons, which means you have disadvantage if you're a small...
I think so. So maybe I'm not taking the heavy crossbow.
You can... you decide. There are also nice other weapons along the walls. Like I said,
You
mostly
should take it.
shields, long swords, stepping
I do.
crossbows.
Yeah, I'm more looking for
Yeah,
it's not.
It doesn't look like you had many roguelike weapons.
Sorry.
Doesn't
Yeah.
look like many roguelike
Yeah, it's
weapons,
more
more
like-
like it's the
Yeah.
armory of a
Yeah,
fighter
yeah.
in here.
No.
Do you know if I would get heavy weapon proficiency?
You're a ranger.
Whatever's
You
your range
definitely
proficient.
have. The dwarf is medium, so you can wield them easily, and you're proficient with all weapons, I think,
Yeah.
as a
Oh.
ranger. So
Okay.
you can definitely wield that if you want to.
Okay. Maybe I should take that heavy crossbow.
All along, all three here.
Right.
So back to the original idea of like reusing the shelves.
The original idea, yeah. So there is the rather tall ladder that basically connects the two very tall floors. So that one will easily fit across the hole.
Okay.
And then you
So
basically just have to sort of stuff
Oh, I
it with
do.
stuff or something, maybe lay something across it or nail something to it.
Yeah.
And where if you just take out all of the books from one or two of the shelves and sort of maybe use them as well there or take them apart a little, shouldn't be too hard. Can you roll me a general history check?
Oh, I'm good on that as well.
Looting is you can only shoot it once per
15.
turn.
15?
Mm.
Okay,
So raise your
in
hands.
that case,
The range is important to know.
that will adjust basically you're gonna be helping
Okay.
in this sense, but not only advantage but also with the DC.
Yeah.
And
Does it
who would
say
like to make a roll to see how well
What
this
it's,
goes?
Oh well, what goes?
What kind of-
Building the bridge. It's basically
Okay.
a question of time, is what this is gonna
Does
be.
it say
I
what's
see.
the?
What kind of roll?
You'll be rolling straight to 20, but basically because all of you are going to be working together on this, I don't think it makes too much. If you,
I think
can
it
you make
uses
a
dex
case
or
for anything in particular you're good at that
Do you know
is,
what you use for?
say works for this?
If you use dex
I am
or something.
Encouraging everyone along with my
Yeah. So just roll me 2d20.
What would you say?
2d20?
Yeah.
So is that like the crossbow? Is that plus dex?
Yes,
Okay. So yeah.
Cool.
Okay, 9 and 13.
Thank you. Yeah.
9 and 13.
I think all range weapons are like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so taking all of this apart and actually building a somewhat functional bridge that doesn't collapse the first time someone a little heavier walks over it in armor or something will take you the better part of an hour. But it's not actually that long for the entire process, especially since you guys also do spend a sizable chunk of that just looting this place.
We're investigating.
Yes, you are
Yeah.
investigating it very
Yeah.
well.
Thoroughly.
You're coming more to my side of the force, if you
Down.
No. out of character.
We should probably look into our driver and our painting and I guess I would ask where we're gonna sleep and mention that we have
Yeah, we have
Once it's
someone-
secure, you can come inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well,
we want to draw up the
I don't know if the
bridge.
if the carriage can go over the bridge, but can it actually?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
can.
definitely can.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so I think like two of us should get the guy and the rest of us is preparing, right?
Yeah.
That sounds fine.
Yeah.
Two of you can head out, and actually, because you are taking care of the bridge, the guards seemingly have all four transitioned to the lower parts and sort of taking walks and sort of checking all of the watchtowers, and they're sweeping the place basically at the moment. But the first place they would go to, but since you guys are getting someone from outside inside, they won't take up the moat as the first thing, but they are definitely gonna be intent that at least one person is stationed there and to keep the drawbridge up just in case of more trouble, or to let it down if the civilians and nobles should return from their trip to the caves.
And they're taking care of the bodies of the.
For the goblins, yes, you can see them sort of. One of them is dragging two of them towards the bridge, and then just drops them off the side because.
As I'm passing by one, I was like, "Ha! That's the shape of my quarterstaff right there."
Solid hit.
Let the fish have them.
Yeah. Okay.
We can get the guy with the painting, the old man, in the
Mhm.
cart.
Yeah. So as you come over, he's still at a campfire, and you get the idea that he has a couple of pieces of sausages out there.
Roasting some carrots.
As you come over, he just takes a quick bite.
How are you doing? Let's come inside the town.
And he sort of very slowly gets up, just leaves the fire burning and walks towards the wagon, sort of. He seems very annoyed, very slow, and if you remember correctly, he's also decently old. Not quite as old as Herman looks, but...
No one could be.
No one
No
is
one-
all as old.
no
I'm
one-
the oldest guy I've ever seen.
Yeah. But for sure, he looks decently old, and he doesn't move half as quickly as Herman does, and it takes him quite a while, but he does eventually get the wagon moving towards Nightstone, and then sort of drives in on him. So it looks like after probably all together with their sweep and everything, it's probably been like 1.5 hours when they get the idea that Nightstone looks like it's mostly secured for now.
Okay.
And they will ask you, are you planning on heading out tonight still, or are you gonna be heading there in the morning?
Probably wait till the morning.
A long rest would be nice after so much fighting.
Yeah, we'll ride out by sunrise.
But maybe
Which by ride out I mean we'll walk. 'Cause we don't have horses.
There should be 4 horses
Oh, okay.
in the stable still, and the one from the wagon, so there should be 5.
Oh, okay. So
You're
it's
small,
right
so.
there.
And you
Very
remember
small.
that one of them was jumped down upon, so 4?
Yeah.
Did you say it was an hour and a half of walking there?
Yes.
So riding
So
there.
for riding that would be much faster, I guess.
Depends on how well you know the route, I suppose, but
We would ask for some maps or something anyway.
Or would that further away? Just
Mhm.
follow.
they should have also left a sizable amount of sizable
Mhm.
amount of prints, right?
Yeah.
It's not that old; it hasn't rained
It
since,
doesn't
We have
so
a range of it.
Yeah, I see.
oh, yeah, that's true.
that would work
The
fine.
map, why not?
Yeah.
I'm sure
Good to have both.
Yeah, both. Definitely. The more cards we
Then what is the time?
Six.
You look up, yeah, it's approximately 5:30 or 6.
And I can smell supper coming from the chimneys at the keep.
Yeah.
You're happy to stay up in the keep if you like, or you can make yourselves comfortable down here in the inn or wherever. I'm not entirely certain what you guys want. But.
I still feel the graveyard is the best.
You also read that story that goblins hate graveyards.
Yes, you see, my man, I knew, I read it somewhere.
No, I'm certain I've read that somewhere. That
Yeah.
has to be
That
true.
is a known fact.
I didn't find a single goblin in the graveyard,
No,
so
they don't spend any time in the graveyard. There was no goblin there.
yeah,
They are too afraid of the ghosts.
They are.
probably.
Everyone should be afraid of the ghosts.
You kid, but in this world, this is a real thing.
It's like,
No,
like
I
you're
cannot.
attacked by a specter. It's like a horrible thing.
A friend of mine ventured into a ghost cemetery forest and encountered something and came back 20 years older.
What?
Wow, maybe that's what happened to you.
It's true.
I don't know. Maybe I'm 20 years old. I don't know. I unfortunately don't recall. It's very tragic. Yes.
Okay, so what are you planning on doing
Don't
next?
laugh. It's tragic.
Supper in there, supper in sleep.
Okay.
So that's Kara. She's sticking around.
Kella is
Kella.
seemingly sticking
Kella.
around, yeah, she's...
Yeah, I don't trust Killa.
Still,
We've established that.
I'm aware, so...
I think I'm also telling you guys when she's not looking that this animal is not normal and it's really something we should be worried about. Or
I don't think we're always with her, right? We're
No,
always
Yeah.
especially now, no.
Yeah.
this is something really we have to be careful, especially for her really nice crossbow. No,
Didn't look dangerous.
it is. It's a sign for the Centaurian, that's a very powerful
Centauri.
thief group.
Now with that name definitely rings a bell for you and probably for you as
Yeah.
well.
I've
Oh.
heard about them.
Like, shoot. They're serious. They mean business.
Infamous, bad people.
Yeah, I made some really bad experience with them,
Really?
and I don't trust.
You think she's
anyone
one of them, or?
I think so,
The
but I don't
snake
know.
is the symbol,
I
you
don't
say.
know. It is the symbol.
Now they
It
mention
might
it.
be a coincidence, but we might be onto something there.
Mm.
Well, she was very deceiving about her nature. And she's definitely not a monk, I think. By now we have established this.
I think so. That's pretty sure. I think either we just take good care of her, or
Mhm.
we could investigate her.
I think we should just keep her at our side. She
Yeah,
seems useful
keep an eye.
so far.
But she
Keep
could
her
set up a
aside.
trap.
I would rather leave her behind and the further away we are from someone like this, the safer we are, no?
I don't know, maybe we can just kill her and look in her pockets. That's something I
Damn,
do
dude.
like to do.
Whoa.
That's my style.
That's very
That
dark.
seems hasty.
Yeah.
I don't like the Centaurian.
Mm-hmm.
So how
Yeah.
will the Centaurian feel about you after you have killed one of their agents?
They don't know.
Seems bad.
No.
They
No.
could.
They have their ways
You
to
don't know
find
that
out.
she is one of them. How? That is just a suspicion still yet, right?
Okay, that's not a bad plan. We
Ki-
could
ki-
be
killing
part.
them.
I could become part of the Centaurian.
I don't know.
That's quite a change. You want to do this then?
Actually, I think this is the place where, as you're sort of probably talking amongst yourself while walking back up the bridge to the keep to enjoy dinner,
Mhm.
when you hear the church bell, the temple bell behind you ring, and you also hear a loud shout for some more, basically strangers at the gate, is what you hear sort of clearly right after that thing comes. And that is where we're going to call it for today. And then we'll find out who these strangers are next time.
Cliffhanger.
Not the bell again.
I thought that's what was
Yeah,
happening. It was the
freaking
ring.
bell. Why didn't we destroy it?
Good question.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about cutting that rope.
Oh, that would have been good. Yeah.
But then we wouldn't know there's trouble ahead.
That's true.
Thank you very much.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank
was
you
fun.
guys.
That was fun.
Thank you for welcoming me. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, sure. How long are you
It's
staying
been a
here?
while. Until Thursday.
Yeah, another week.
Yeah, cool.